Is this microphone working? Audio, I think so. Can we discuss that guy on the last live? We can discuss him. I think right off the bat I'm curious about this. I did not watch this episode of The Majority Report, but they have Ryan Grimm on the show. And after he had made some pretty shitty comments on breaking points. So I kind of want to hear what Emma Vigeland has to say to Ryan Grimm right off the top. I'm on Instagram comments? So you're what the fuck? Dude, on the fucking Instagram comment, I don't think Girl with a Microphone has ever responded to me at all. Isn't she like a Twitter obsessed person? How does she have time to also engage on Instagram? Why is she even in my feed? I don't want her in my feed. Like, I genuinely, like, I go onto Twitter and this is the first thing that I see. Like, I genuinely don't understand how you claim to fight for people. Who is she responding to? What is this in response to? This is just a straight up tweet. It's not a response for anything. It's almost like your rhetoric is dishonest. She didn't tag anyone. Girl, you are so disingenuous. Like, I don't understand how you claim to fight for people's freedom from occupation, but Ukrainians don't count. Is she just, like, schizo posting about Hassan? Does she think that she's, like, tagging Hassan in this? Anyway, I had a pretty funny tweet. Like, we'll talk about this in a bit, like the Ethan Klein, Noah Samson video. I do want to watch this, but... anyway, that tweet was funny. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, we're talking about Ryan Grimm. Let's get into it before we talk about Girl with a Microphone or anything.
Hey folks, you know what time it is. It's time for Sunser or
well.
Yeah. Nazi-style number. But even J.D. Vance, heir to Trump probably.
Lisa is committed to eco-friendly materials and sustainable manufacturing practices and partners with organizations like Clean Hub and Green Worms to help remove harmful plastic waste from the environment. Go to lisa.com for their July 4th sale to get 30% off plus an extra $50 off with promo code majority exclusive for our listeners. That's LEESA.com, promo code majority for 30% off plus an extra $50 off. Support our show and let them know we sent you after checkout. Lisa.com, promo code majority. We will put a link to that down below in the video and episode descriptions. And a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Ryan Grimm. We are back, and we are joined by Ryan Grimm, journalist, co-host of Breaking Points, and co-founder of Dropsite News. Ryan, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Emma, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's been quite a week for us both, I would say, and like also just in terms of covering progressive politics and anti-establishment politics. We'll start off in the most controversial place here, because as I've said to you before, you're one of my favorite people to disagree with because it can always be even-handed and in good faith. But just to catch people up, earlier this week, you reported that there'd been a detail that had been left out of Politico's reporting on the rape accusation against Graham Platner. Politico didn't include, apparently, that the woman accusing Platner of this assault had asked him to come over for a glute massage the night of the alleged assault.
And like my position on this, if you didn't catch my last live stream, is that yeah, this is a detail excluded from the story. There are countless details that could have been excluded from the story. This detail doesn't change the core of the reporting. It actually adds nothing to the reporting, and it can only serve to take away from the impact of the person's story by giving rape apologists kind of ammunition to say, well, she was asking for it. It's literally the only thing that it would add to the story. An out for people to justify the rape that Graham Platner did to Jenny Razzacott.
However, sorry, what'd you say?
Said she needed a glute massage, but not to ask him for it. Is
Gotcha.
my recollection. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
For a glute massage the night of the alleged assault. However, sorry, what'd you say?
Said she needed a glute massage, but not to ask him for it. Is
Gotcha.
my recollection. Right?
Yeah. And afterwards, she still said, "Do not come over." And you have faced some pushback for reporting this detail. And I guess I'm wondering what you think of that pushback, because this is what I would say, right? Like, we often will say on our show that it's as important. Like, the substance of what we say is sometimes even less important than what we choose to highlight or cover, right? And I think that perhaps emphasizing this detail gave a lot of people license to dismiss Jenny's accusation, even if that's not in what the text said. That would be my critique, and I'm wondering what you think of that.
What was it? What did Emma say?
People license to dismiss Jenny's accusation, even if that's not in what the text said. That would be my...
Yeah, so she's saying including that detail would give a lot of people license to dismiss Jenny's accusations, or essentially lessen the impact of the rape. That's my position too.
Critique, and I'm wondering what you think of that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone seriously argues with the general idea that if we're going to try a very serious allegation in the court of public opinion, that the information that the media has about that should be public. Like, I think I don't generally think that anybody really disagrees with that. And I think it's important to...
Yeah, but like, if she has the entire text conversation and she gives it to Politico, should Politico publish the entire text publication? That's not the issue that Ryan Grimm is having with the Politico article. The issue with the Politico article that Ryan Grimm is having is this one specific detail, and the reason he has an issue with that is because he thinks that it changes the claim. It's not that the article needs to publish every single aspect. Did they publish the emails that Jenny Razzacott showed them that she had with her therapist? No, they editorialized the emails. Why doesn't Ryan Grimm have an issue with the fact that Politico didn't publish the actual emails that they got? Did they publish the text messages that Jenny Razzacott had with her friend? Did they say like every word for word the specific conversations she had with her partner? Or Who else did she talk about this with? I don't know. The point is, Ryan Grimm can't come out and say, I think that this changes the fundamental building blocks of this story. Because if he says that, he will come across as a rape apologist. So he has to play this this like hand in glove game of, I'm actually just claiming that I want all of the details to be published. Which I just established is bullshit. And the reality is that he does think that this detail changes the story, and that's why he wants the details published. But if he thinks the detail changes the story, then he's kind of a rapist. Like, that's a rapey thing to do. Oh, you said that you texted a slightly sexual innuendo to me. That means that I have carte blanche to come over and have sex with you. Even though you immediately said don't come over, and you said don't have sex with me multiple times while Graham Platner was raping you. Like, Ryan Grimm just can't get around the fact that either the detail doesn't change a story in which it is irrelevant to be published, or it does change a story in which he is a rape apologist.
Understand exactly how Politico reported this at the time. So I have it in front of me here. They wrote, that night in late 2021, she said she had exchanged text messages with him and told him not to come over, saying she wasn't in the mood for company. Later that evening, she said she realized when she heard a sound on the stairs that he had let himself into her house. So the way that Politico presents it, they were texting, she says, don't come over. And then there's effectively...
It's just so fucked up. Like, you can't get away with this, dude. Come on, tell me. They were texting, she said, don't come over. Okay. That encompasses all of the text. Saying that she said she needed a glute massage doesn't change the meaning of that sentence. That doesn't add anything to the sentence, unless you're assuming saying I need a glute massage means that's an invitation to rape me, right? And all of her objections to that, all of the saying that don't come over, don't have sex with me, that's meaningless because of that one text.
Break-in. Like, that's kind of the impression.
A break-in. It is a break-in. What the fuck are you talking about? It's literally a break-in. If you tell someone, don't come over to my house, and they come over to your house and they enter your house, they broke into your house. Breaking in doesn't mean you're physically breaking the door. You're not busting down the wall like the Kool-Aid Man. Breaking in is like an illegal entry. An illegal entry is if you enter someone's house without their consent.
Said she realized when she heard a sound on the stairs that he had let himself into her house. So the way that Politico presents it, they were texting, she says, don't come over. And then there's effectively a break-in. Like, that's kind of the impression that you're left with here. The door is
This is not a good look, bro.
unlocked, but like, if you don't have permission to come in the house, like, you can't just come in an unlocked house. It's not how it works.
What?
Politico was aware that
you can't just come in an unlocked house. That's not how it works. Dude, he's just digging himself into a deeper hole. What he's saying doesn't make any sense. And the reason it doesn't make any sense is because the thing he actually wants to say is, well, Platner was kind of justified in coming over because of that text.
Effectively a break-in.
Even if that's not in what the text said, that would be my critique. And I'm wondering what you think of that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone seriously argues with the general idea that if we're going to try a very serious allegation in the court of public opinion, that the information that the media has about that should be public. Like, I think I don't generally think that anybody really disagrees with that. And I think it's important to understand exactly how Politico reported this at the time. So I have it in front of me here. They wrote, that night in late 2021, she said she had exchanged text messages with him and told him not to come over, saying she wasn't in the mood for company. Later that evening, she said she realized when she heard a sound on the stairs that he had let himself into her house. So the way that Politico presents it, they were texting, she says, don't come over. And then there's
Lindsey Graham is dead. Lindsey Graham is dead. Long live Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham is gone. His last relationship was with Hassan the Hun. Oh no. No, not Lindsay. Can I refresh this and just see it? Ethan Klein. Here we go. War translated. Yes, the first thing that shows me Lindsey Graham is dead, other than YouTube chat. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham visited Ukraine's Skyfall and got a look at vampire-heavy bomber drones. Looks pretty Wait, what the fuck? Lindsey Graham? Lindsey Graham? Here we go. Hassan Piker announces bomb. Where's the fucking... Okay. Mitch McConnell. Wait, dude. What the fuck? On the evening of Saturday, July 11th, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham passed away from a brief and sudden illness. Dude, these people are dropping like flies. Lindsey Graham being publicly dead before Mitch McConnell is crazy. Oh my god. Dude, I still remember when Lindsey Graham tried to release a like a national abortion ban. And it's just like the Republicans are like, what the fuck are you doing? Lindsey Graham. Senator from South Carolina. He's fucking dead. 16 minutes ago. It's Jesus. It's Jesus Christ. He's the one taking them out. What was his last post? Damn, bro. How the fuck did he die before Mitch McConnell? That's embarrassing. Come on, he's a spry 71-year-old. The office of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham released the following statement. He passed away from a brief and sudden illness. Senator Graham's family appreciates prayers at this time. All right, guys, everyone give up a prayer for Lindsey Graham and ask for privacy during this incredibly difficult period. Unfortunately, the news is true. Incredibly sad day. As his communications director for 27 years, he's truly one of a... Yeah, dude, this is a problem. He was a fucking senator. Okay, how long was he a senator for? This guy's been his communications director for 27 years. He should not be, like, ruling the country at 71 years old. One of the few Americans who truly understood the Middle East. Thank you for standing with the Iranian people? Why? Because he was a war hawk against Iran? Dude, people are fucking... It's fucking Lindsey Graham's account. It's his official account, and they're saying, Grok, is it true? Dude, oh my god. He couldn't stand McConnell. Mitch? What's a good Lindsey Graham impression? Mitch, you're taking on my spotlight. Alright, oh, fucking hell. How long was he a senator for? Lindsey Graham. Let's see if there's a highlights compilation. What was his position on Iran? He has a YouTube channel with 48.8 subscribers. What's his last posted video? Graham chairs budget committee hearing on the nomination of Hal Duncan. These are going to be rough watches.
Good morning to you, Senator.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, he did not look good at all.
There's a lot that still hasn't been figured out here in this deal. But you wrote 9 days ago the idea of a U.S. plan with partners to create a fund of at least $300 billion. This is point 6 in the memorandum, is tone deaf, and it's akin to a Marshall Plan for Germany with the Nazis still in.
Whoops. Bro, He was a fucking senator since
Good morning to you,
2003?
Senator.
Holy Christ.
Good
Yeah, this guy, I mean, obviously. Dude, like, it's so ridiculous. The only way we can get rid of these fucking vampires is them just dying. What was his military service like? He graduated from the University of South Carolina School of Law. He was commissioned as an officer in the Air Force and began active duty that year. How did he become commissioned as an officer in the Air Force? Oh, he was in the ROTC. So then he went to law school, became an officer. In 1984, he was defending an Air Force pilot accused of using marijuana. Wow, so risque. He was featured in an episode of 60 Minutes that exposed the Air Force's defective drug testing procedures. He returned to South Carolina in 1989, and he became a lawyer. Man, he did have a pretty big military service. 1994, 20-year incumbent Democratic U.S. Congressman Butler Derrick decided to retire. Graham ran to succeed him. A Democrat? Oh, no, he was a Republican. In the general election, challenged by Debbie Dorn. 1997, he took part in a leadership change. So then he was in the House for like 6 years and then ran in 2002 and got elected to the Senate. And then he was a senator for the next fucking 23 years. Lindsey Graham is fucking dead. Well, Mitch McConnell is fucking. Lindsey Graham is just dead. He is closeted in hell right now. He ran for re-election in 2014. Oh, well. Graham is running for re-election in 2026? Dude, what the fuck is wrong with this country? Why are we, like, letting 71-year-olds run for re-election? Honestly, it's good, though. Like, he ran for re-election and then fucking died. Hopefully, he screws over the race in South Carolina. It's on the Senate Finance Committee. Anyway, rest in peace, Lindsey Graham. Yeah, I mean, pretty horrible person. Jesus Christ. Obviously, like a super big hawk on Iran and pro-Israel, so. Lindsey Graham down, Mitch McConnell MIA. Good week for like anti-genocide, anti-rape people. You know, Graham Platner out. That's good shit. That's good shit. Test your coke. Yeah, wasn't Lindsey Graham just like basically just a religious Christian Zionist, like some of the worst Zion. I don't know what's worse, a Jewish supremacist Zionist or a Christian supremacist Zionist. I feel like a Christian supremacist Zionist. I know you guys told me about it. He died literally 15 minutes ago. Well, at least they posted about it 15 minutes ago. I mean, rest in peace. He will not be missed. Let's just say that. Israel. All right, well, let's watch his latest interview. Lindsey Graham YouTube.
Who joins us from
This is the man that had a sudden and unfortunate demise probably about an hour ago.
Seneca. Good morning to you, Senator.
Does not look good right now.
Good morning. Good morning.
There's a lot that still hasn't been figured out here in this deal. But you wrote 9 days ago the idea of a U.S.
Right.
plan with partners to create a fund of at least $300 billion. This is point 6 in the memorandum, is tone deaf, and it's akin to a Marshall Plan for Germany with the Nazis still in charge. Why did you change your position and now you support it?
Because before I thought the money was coming from the West. If the West funds Iran, I think that would be a Marshall Plan.
I mean, dude, he's just like, it's like your grandpa, like the racism that your grandpa has, except a guy who's actually in charge of foreign policy for the United States. And then he acts on the racism. So instead of being like, don't go down to those subways, there are brown folk around there, he's like, let's just bomb brown people and not let them have any type of stable country or any kind of stable living standards where they can have a seat at the world political table. We're just going to, destroy them and have our puppets be in charge of them and rule over them forever while they live in squalor. Absolutely disgusting. And then as soon as like the Republicans are like, oh no, actually we do, like as soon as the Trump administration is saying that they do want to have a deal with Iran, he has to turn heel because he's cocked to Trump, obviously.
Marshall Plan for Germany with the Nazis still.
Dude, I don't know. People, the Republicans aren't looking good. Some of those old folks, I don't think Trump looks that good either. It actually kind of looks like he has that same puffy face as Lindsey Graham does in this interview.
In charge. Why did you change your position and now you support it?
Because before I thought the money was...
Yeah, he's like saying demons would be in charge of Iran, but now he supports it because the money stream is coming from a different source. He obviously, these people don't mean anything they say. They're the most disingenuous demons in the world, and he's just trying to save face because the Republicans support a peace plan.
Was coming from the West.
Peace plan.
If the West funds Iran, I think that would be a Marshall Plan with the Nazis still in charge for Germany. If the plan envisions the Sunni Arabs, if the Sunni Arabs do it, can you imagine if Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates invest $300 billion in Iran? That would tell me that Iran has changed. To all the experts out there, do you think Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates are going to invest in Iran with a theocracy bent on destroying Sunni Islam? So think it through. If the money comes from the Sunni Arab world, I hope it happens. It would mean that the Sunni Arabs believe that Iran has changed to the point they want to be a business partner. I pray that happens. I doubt if it will.
You doubt if it will. Well, I want to ask you about some of the criticism of the agreement.
Yeah, can we call up Mitch McConnell and get his comments about Lindsey Graham's death?
From your...
Oh, Lindsey Graham is a great guy, but I just saw him 10 minutes ago, and we were just, we'd go down to the club, the Turkish bathhouses together, we'd have a grand old time there. We're in Kyiv together, touching all those big phallic-shaped bombs. Oh, that was a great time.
Fellow
Lindsey Graham died doing what he loved, warmongering.
Republican colleagues. Take a listen.
If we give billions of dollars to Iran, that money will be used to murder Americans. And so I don't believe we should do that.
They'll use the money that is being released to rebuild their ballistic missile arsenal and begin to enrich again. And that's going to be a continuing danger.
That money, Brooke, we know is not going to go to build new hospitals or daycares. It's going to go to replenish their drone stockpiles, their missiles, to support terrorists like Hezbollah and Hamas.
We had 13 Americans dead. We spent anywhere from $25 to $100 billion in munitions. And it turns out we've lost a credible threat of attacking them again. So there's a lot of stuff in there. It's bad.
All of those Republicans are seriously doubting the president here, Senator Graham. Do you agree with their concerns?
No, I don't. We're not giving any money to Iran that can change the course of history to try diplomacy. Is the MOU problematic? Yeah. I'd rather try diplomacy than take it off the table. The money Iran gets is not going to change the future of Iran. It's not enough to reconstruct the country. If you don't have a diplomatic path through the MOU, then you have to go to war or some other form of coercion. Let's try this. Let's try a diplomatic solution. I think it's going to fail. What happens next? I spent 4.5 hours with President Trump.
The diplomatic solution is going to fail, but he supports a diplomatic solution. Man. Comments are turned off, of course, on the Lindsey Graham YouTube channel. Dude, just don't read your fucking comments. Like, Republicans are so censorial that they don't even allow for comments on their own YouTube channels because they think it's going to be a breeding ground for dissent or something like that.
Friday, here's what I think will happen next. If this deal fails, President Trump is going to take the Strait of Hormuz over by force. The United States will control the Strait of Hormuz. We'll charge a fee for all those who go through to pay for the operation. And we're going to expand the Abraham Accords in calendar year 2026. We're going to get Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords, and which is the biggest change in 5,000 years in the Mideast. And if Iran contests control of the Strait of Hormuz by the United States, we will obliterate them. So to all the people listening, if this diplomatic effort fails, President Trump is going to take the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah. We're going to run it. We're going to try to get Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords to end the Arab-Israeli conflict in 2026. And if Iran continues to attack Israel and Lebanon...
Israel? Yeah, you were right about the way he says Israel. If Iran continues to attack Israel, yeah.
New policy will be, we'll hit Iran. So
Bro, it is great. It's like, does someone out there have the death note? Why are all of these people suffering cardiac arrests? Mitch McConnell's probably dead, by the way. I wonder if this Graham death is going to cause the caretakers of Mitch McConnell to release the news that he actually is dead. Like, well, Graham's dead. I guess we're going to, like, have Mitch McConnell be confirmed dead, too. Because the reporting I saw on that is that when they carried Mitch McConnell out in the stretcher to the ambulance, they were, like, doing CPR, but they weren't rushing. So he was either stable, in which case, why would he be at the hospital for 30 days? Or it's just not looking good for the old Mitch boy. Okay, take it away, Ryan Grimm, though. Tell us why the Politico reporting needed to be corrected. Tell us.
However, sorry, what'd you say?
Said she needed a glute massage, but not to ask him for it. Is
Gotcha.
my recollection. Right?
Yeah. And afterwards, she still said, "Do not come over." And you have faced some pushback for reporting this detail. And I guess I'm wondering what you think of that pushback, because this is what I would say, right? Like, we often will say on our show that it's as important. Like, the substance of what we say is sometimes even less important than what we choose to highlight or cover, right? And I think that perhaps emphasizing this detail gave a lot of people license to dismiss Jenny's accusation, even if that's not in what the text said. That would be my critique, and I'm wondering what you think of that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone seriously argues with the general idea that if we're going to try a very serious allegation in the court of public opinion, that the information that the media has about that should be public. Like, I think I don't generally think that anybody really disagrees with that. And I think it's important to understand exactly how Politico reported this at the time. So I have it in front of me here. They wrote, that night in late 2021, she said she had exchanged text messages with him and told him not to come over, saying she wasn't in the mood for company. Later that evening, she said she realized when she heard a sound on the stairs that he had let himself into her house. So the way that Politico presents it, they were texting, she says, "Don't come over." And then there's effectively a break-in. Like, that's kind of the impression that you're left with here.
That's kind of the impression that you're left with. And how would sending a text saying that you need a glute massage change that? Right? How would that specific text change the impression? That's kind of the impression you're left with, that they were texting and then there was a break-in. And the missing detail would leave the impression that they were texting and then there was a break-in.
The door is unlocked, but like if you don't have permission to come in the house.
Wait, he was friends with Graham Platner? Oh, no fucking way. How? Were they in Maine together? Like, was Ryan Grimm a mercenary too? Ryan Grimm, Grahamas Platner. Hutch. Oh, Hutch. Graham Platner. More details released regarding Platner's assassin allegations. Ryan Grimm asks. This was 10 months ago. Dropsite News.
Point of you being the same guy your whole life. This is something I've seen people ask, and I wanted to get your.
I mean, I don't know. He obviously liked him. Like, he liked him as a politician. I don't know if they were friends outside of Ryan Grimm's reporting, but it doesn't matter. What he's doing here is pretty nasty.
Like, you can't just.
He met him as a bartender, and he's just like, I like the cut of your jib, guy. Now, they probably talk about politics, but still, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny that they do have a relationship that goes beyond just reporter and politician.
Come in an unlocked house. It's not how it works.
What the fuck is he talking about here? You can't just come in an unlocked house? That's not how it works? What are you talking about?
And then there's effectively a break-in. Like, that's kind of the impression that you're left with here. The door is unlocked, but like if you don't have permission to come in the house, like you can't just come in an unlocked house.
Right, the door was unlocked, but you can't just come into an unlocked house. Correct.
It's not how it works.
That's not how it works. Okay, fair enough. He's saying if you come into an unlocked house, that's a break-in.
Politico was aware that the exchange that they're referencing there included her saying she needed a glute massage, him responding, I'm on my way over, and then she responds, I'm not, don't come, I'm not in the mood for company. We don't know whether or not he got that message or he.
Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Saying I need a glute massage isn't an invitation to come over to the house. What the fuck are you talking about? That's not an invitation at all. And if you say don't come, that's on the person coming over to see those messages and realize that you are unwelcome. You can't just be like, oh, well, there was this one message that I got that makes me think I could come over. And so I just put my phone, I shut down my phone and I came over and, I just walked into the house. Even if you get the idea that you can come over and your phone completely dies, why don't you fucking knock on the door? Like, this is literally rape apologia that Ryan Grimm is doing. He's literally making excuses for Graham Platner on the Majority Report YouTube channel. He's saying that, well, maybe he didn't see the text messages that said, don't come over. Did he hear Jenny Rascott saying, don't come upstairs, don't touch me, don't have sex with me? Because on his fucking show Breaking Points, Ryan Grimm goes so far as to say, maybe Graham Platner was giving Jenny Rascott a massage. When Jenny Rascott is like, he's molesting me, he's tearing at my clothes, he's ripping them off and then forcibly having sex with me. Ryan Grimm has the gall to say, well, maybe he was just giving her a massage. When Jenny says she's being molested, is he giving her a glute massage? Dude, this is fucking disgusting, just straight up rape apologia.
He was just, drunkenly driving over to her house. There are a lot of people who absolutely do not care about that detail and don't think it's relevant and are okay with it not being included.
Okay, yeah.
There are also many, many people who think that detail is relevant for his state of mind, and particularly whether or not the implication of a break-in is accurate, which then shapes some of the rest of it.
Bro, it's literally a break-in. You can't get a text message that doesn't say, I'm going to invite you over, and then go to someone's house and walk in. Even if you've had a prior existing relationship with someone, if they're actively saying, don't come in, and then you show up, you just walk into their house, that's a break-in. You cannot do that just because you got a text message that in no way is an invitation to come over. And even if you misconstrue it as an invitation to come over, then you ignore the protest text messages, you don't knock on the door, you don't ring the doorbell. Graham Platner was literally drunk driving. He was drunk. I don't understand why Ryan Grimm insists on trying to get into his state of mind and defend him. You can get into his state of mind, but you are justifying it. You're like, to a lot of people, this would justify it. The only reason you want it to be included is because you know that it would justify it. There is no one that hears that extra detail, unnecessary detail in my opinion, and thinks to themselves, oh yes, that means Graham Platner is an even worse rapist. That was a necessary detail to include, right? The only people that would think that's a necessary detail to include is if they think that that somehow justifies the rape, that somehow makes it less bad that Graham Platner broke into Jenny's house and raped her. Those are the people that that Ryan Grimm is trying to service by being this nitpicky little bitch and complaining that Politico didn't include this detail that everyone knows would help people to justify what Graham Platner did. And Ryan Grimm is one of those people. He's using this detail to help justify what Graham Platner did.
And what I would say to the people who don't think it's relevant,
I would
that's
include
fine.
myself in that camp. So yeah,
right, absolutely, yeah. You don't think it's relevant? That's totally fine. We live in a democracy where the entire public is involved in the deliberation of these questions.
Okay, but if like it's not a relevant detail except to people that want to justify rape, right? Like Politico doesn't feel like helping justify rape, so they didn't do it. That's not that doesn't mean that they're bad at their journalistic integrity. That doesn't mean that the article author is bad at reporting or bad at editorializing it. All of the information that is gleaned from the article is not changed in any way by the extra detail that Ryan Grimm is adding. Like Ryan Grimm is literally just saying
And so
that I wish the author of this article made it so that Graham Platner looked less bad.
there are many people who do think it's relevant. Like, is it relevant that he was drunk? Like,
but the disqualifying piece is the rape accusation, not the break-in, right? So I guess perhaps this absolves him of the break-in.
But it also doesn't absolve him from the break-in. Like the thing you cannot get away from is that this detail is irrelevant, right? It's irrelevant to the break-in. Like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about people just like are we mad that we don't get the facts of what Graham Platner did, or were we mad that we didn't get the facts of what Jenny Rasicot did? Because we got the facts of what Graham Platner did. He broke into a person's house and he raped that person. Are we going to ask what Jenny Rasicot was wearing too? Like, why was it so easy that Graham Platner raped you? Were you not wearing jeans with a belt that he had to unbuckle and he couldn't figure it out? Why did you have your doors unlocked, Jenny? Like, are we criticizing Jenny Rasicot's actions here? Or are we criticizing Graham Platner's actions? Because if we're criticizing Graham Platner's actions, then the text messages that Jenny sent him are utterly meaningless, except for the "no, don't come into my house" text messages.
But wouldn't her saying still, protesting and saying that it was not consensual?
Absolutely. Obviously, if she said, and I thought this was more obvious apparently than it is,
right?
If you say, I need a massage, let's say you say, come over and give me a massage, and he tries to turn the massage into something more than that, and she says no, and he pushes past it, it's obviously still rape. Like, there's zero question about that. But this kind of insistence that the facts aren't really important because of what she says happened in the end, I don't believe. As a journalist, our job is to put the facts out that we have and then let the public decide whether or not
That's literally not your job. Your job is to produce a story. You're not supposed to put every single fact out as a journalist. You need to discern what's important to get across and what's not important to get across. In your story, you editorialize things. There's a reason you don't get just raw data that journalists just simply transfer over from whatever text messages they're getting from people onto their blog or whatever. You need to assimilate data and information that is given to you and then produce a story that does a good job analyzing all of that data and gives people like a narrative to follow. Your job is to not release every single detail. You need to make the argument that the story is meaningfully changed by this missing detail. And when we're talking about the story isn't Jenny Rassicot's actions other than her protestations to not come over to her house, not come into her house, not come upstairs to her, not molest her, and not forcibly have sex with her. Any other details than those are utterly irrelevant, right? And the focus is on Graham Platner's actions first and foremost. Graham Platner's actions ignoring all of those different levels of consent that Jenny Rassicot did not give him. And you're trying to argue that this little detail changes some of those things when it absolutely does not. And your insistence on focusing on that in the wake of a massive rocking of the boat with these actions coming against Graham Platner is making you come off as a guy who is apologizing for Graham Platner's rape, trying to lessen the severity of this charge for Graham Platner.
Irrelevant. Now, some people said, "Whoa, why don't you put in like what she was wearing?" No, that is completely different.
Why? Why is it completely different? If he saw that she was wearing sexy lingerie, would that be like, oh, well, maybe he was justified. Maybe that would change the way people view this. All of the details need to be released, right? Like, if you're making an argument for every single detail to be released, then make that argument. Don't say it's completely different to say what she was wearing, right?
Like, we are talking about two people who had been dating on and off for 2 years.
Yeah, give me all of the details about every time they've had sex. Was there a time when Graham Platner was drunk and he came over before and walked into her house? Is that the details that we want? Give me the details of every single time they have sex. I'm sure that Jenny Rassicot gave a bit more of a detailed description of their previous relationship up until that night that Politico didn't include in the story. Is Ryan Grimm mad about that Politico didn't include all of the intricacies of their relationship with each other?
At this point, the nature of the text message exchanges that they had that led him to come over is relevant to some people. Doesn't have to be relevant to everybody to be included, just some people. And I really don't actually.
Bro, the point is, like, this is so fucking stupid. Is Jenny Rassicot's outfit relevant to some people? Yes, it is, because there are rape apologists out there. That is the same as the text messages, because the contents of the text messages would be relevant to rape apologists. So if you're trying to argue that the contents of the text messages need to be released, then also argue that the clothing Jenny was wearing should also be released. Like, come on, be consistent here. The only reason you're not being consistent in your support for rape apologia is because you know that saying, what is Jenny Rassicot wearing, looks like blatant rape apologia, but you've dug your heels into this text message shit, and you're trying to obfuscate the idea that this is rape apologia. You're trying to hide behind journalistic integrity when what you're actually doing is just defending Graham Platner's actions. Emma downplaying the previous allegations and saying, I'm sorry if that's such a shitty apology. What's with the egos on American leftist media? I mean, yeah, everyone has big egos. I think Emma's been handling this fairly well. Like, bro, don't get me started on Ryan Grimm, though. It's been awful. Yeah, Ryan Grimm has always been weird.
I think this is a controversial point. I understand why it's so sensitive. Particularly, we live in a world where, in a country where sexual assault is just rampant. So many people reading the story have themselves experienced sexual assault and are experiencing it both through the the political lens, but also then through the prism of their own experience. So I understand why it's this sensitive for so many people. At the same time, the idea that Politico can have this information and decide on their own not to include it because they're worried about, let's be honest about why they didn't include it. They're worried about what some readers might take from it. That's not Politico's place. That's my point.
I mean,
yeah, but it's an irrelevant detail. Like, you need to make the argument that this detail significantly changes the story that they published. That's the argument you need to make. Okay? And you can't say that this detail is more important than the detail of what Jenny was wearing. Right? You can't say that this detail is more important than the specific ways in which Graham Platner raped her. You can't say that, because by your same argument, those details could change the effect of this story in the minds of some people. And it's not, like, dude, is he listening to himself? It's not the editor's job to editorialize. It literally is their job to do that. You take all of the raw information and you type up a story. I'm sorry if that's not how you enjoy media, but that is how media works. All media is biased. And if you want to reveal that fact, then you own up to the idea that this fact changes the story to you. If you want to be the journalist that broadcasts these text messages, broadcasts the text message that she said, I need a glute massage, then you own up to it and you say this is a relevant detail to the story that is changing things. And then you also have to own up to the criticism that you're defending Graham Platner's rape. Like, I just don't see how this can be in any way a criticism of the Politico story.
So then it's a media critique is right. Well then, yeah. but then if it is a media critique, then what is the intention of that critique in this moment? Like, do you see how it could serve a second?
Right. What is the intention of this critique in the moment? You like, basically Ryan Grimm is like, this article should have been written in a way to make people, to give rape apologists more ammunition. That's what Ryan Grimm is saying. And Emma's like, okay, why would you say that when everyone's calling on Graham Platner to drop out?
Secondary, if not purpose, that actually might be outsized, where it causes a large section of less media literate people to disparage this accuser and not take it seriously, just because they're not going to maybe look into the details and they're going to take away from it that the reporting was faulty because you have this critique that is much more narrow than what the takeaway is going to be. I mean, that's the responsibility piece.
I've actually said repeatedly that the fact that Jenny was willing to share this detail with the Washington Post, I believe with CNN, which didn't include it, and with Politico, Washington Post did include it, to their great credit. Nobody read their story because they took more time with it, apparently.
How is it to their great credit? How is it like, if this is a meaningless detail, then how is it to their great credit that they included it? You know that he's saying it's to their great credit because Ryan Grimm understands that this detail, to idiots, makes it seem like Graham Platner's rape was less of a harsh thing. That's why he's saying to their great credit, because he knows that to rapists, it makes it look like Graham Platner didn't do as bad of a rape.
The fact that Jenny included this detail, to me, strengthens the credibility of her version of events. Like, it shows a level of confidence in her rendition to share all of it.
Yeah, and once again, he's saying that, oh, Jenny included this to her credit because that detail would make it look like she asked to be raped. Once again, this is a fucking rape apologia. Yeah, Lindsey Graham is dead. He can dream of Israel and destroying Iran from hell now. He can look up at Iran as they mog the United States in the Strait of Hormuz.
Of it. For Politico, then, to decide on its own, I don't think people can handle this because that's not what we're going for in this article. is
Bro, this is so fucking stupid. It's not what we're going for in this article. Shut the fuck up.
just wrong. And like, I understand that like people are going to be like livid at me for like putting the reporting out there, but like it's not up to, and also we shouldn't, just because people are going to be livid at us, like that's not a reason to like not report something.
No, I'm in agreement with you there. I think, you know, it's just a question, perhaps of timing and, you know, a question of like, where do you place reporting in narrative construction? Like, it is
like, you just can't get around the idea that it's an irrelevant detail. Like, at the end of the day, it's utterly irrelevant.
Timing and emphasis as important as the granular nature of the details. Like, I think it is.
My view is completely different than how the world operates when it comes to these questions. Like, I think the public should take more time than it does with these allegations. Like,
yeah, at the end of the day, he wants to defend Graham Platner. That's what Ryan Grimm is doing. I think the public should take more time with these allegations. Yeah, so you're trying to undermine the allegations by doing meaningless scrutiny. Dude, this is not a criticism of the journalism. You're not criticizing the journalism. You're trying to scrutinize the allegations so that you can undercut the severity of the allegations. That is what you're doing. But all of these scrutinies fall short. Even if that detail was included in the original article, that wouldn't change anything. That's the point. The takeaway from that original article would still be the same takeaway. And ultimately, if we're talking about that Politico article as a piece of journalism, it is a stronger piece of journalism to not include the "I need a glute massage," because it would bog down the article and make it less of a coherent and streamlined piece of writing. You can't say that, oh, I just think that the public should take more time and think about these things, when you're trying to scrutinize the article and undercut the claim. Just be honest and say that you want Graham Platner to not be canceled. Just be honest by that.
To have an article come out, and then within basically an hour of that article coming out,
and now he's crying because Graham Platner got canceled. Give me a break. Own up to what you're doing. Just be honest and say, I don't like how everyone immediately canceled Graham Platner. I wanted to defend him by scrutinizing the claims and trying to nitpick it apart with meaningless criticisms in an attempt to defend this man.
Decision to have been rendered, I think, doesn't do justice to anybody.
Why? It doesn't do justice to the woman who he raped. It doesn't do justice to the people of Maine for now knowing what Graham Platner is and the actions he's done in the past. If you're saying that the article doesn't change, if you're saying that that little tidbit doesn't change what Graham Platner did, then why is it relevant? And how is it not doing justice to the people of Maine for knowing that the person they voted for in the primary and would have to vote for in the general election is a rapist? They should know all of the details of this person's life. Well, not like all of the details of his life, but they should know what kind of person who they're voting for is.
So but that's not the world we have. Like, the world we have is article.
Aww.
Wow, this is awful. Done. Like, this is over. I don't want to hear anything else about it. And
oh my God, my favorite Maine bartender got canceled because he raped someone 5 years ago.
If you tell me anything else about it, you are justifying what happened. I just don't believe that.
You are literally trying to justify it. Don't give me that shit.
I think that's how, like, knowledge creation should exist. I don't think that's how public trials of people should unfold. I am in the deep minority on the left on this.
I understand.
Well,
Right.
I'm in the deep, loud minority on this. I think among the public in general, the two scenarios are different. One scenario being they exchanged text message. She said, "Don't come over." He came over anyway. Is different than two people had been dating for 2 years, exchanged messages about a glute massage. "Oh, I'm coming over. Actually, I don't want company. Don't come over." Like those are different. Those are different scenarios, and the public has a right.
No, they're not. How are they different scenarios? They exchanged text messages and she said, "Don't come over," versus, like, dude, this is the thing. Ryan Grimm is saying, "Oh yeah, to like the vast majority of people, this detail wouldn't change anything. But to rape apologists, it would change things." And then he's saying that, well, to me, this is a different scenario. So you're a rape apologist. Like, by your own logic, you are one of the people in which this text message would change things. We know that to be the case. So don't pretend like this is some kind of criticism with the Politico article, and and it has nothing to do with you, because you think that that glute massage text message changes things. Be honest about that. Be honest about that, Ryan. Like, let's not beat around the bush. You think it changes things. You're a rape apologist. I'm sorry. By your own logic, I'm just using your own words here.
To the actual scenario.
Yes.
And then most of them will look, I think, at that actual scenario.
The fuck is this motherfucker talking about? The actual scenario. The actual scenario that wasn't portrayed in the original Politico article in which they exchanged text messages and then he came over, even though she told him not to. In the actual scenario, they exchanged text messages and then she told him not to come over and he came anyway. Wow.
In the deep, loud minority on this. I think among the public in general, the two scenarios are different. One scenario being they exchanged text message. She said, "Don't come over." He came over anyway. Is different than two people had been dating for 2 years, exchanged messages about a glute massage. "Oh, I'm coming over."
They've been dating for 2 years. That was in the Politico article.
Actually, I don't want company. Don't come over. Like those are different. Those are different scenarios, and the public has a right to the actual scenario.
Yeah, so you think that the text message changes things? What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Just own up to that.
Yes.
And then most of them
No, Emma. They're not different scenarios.
will look, I think, at that actual scenario and say, he's still guilty and I still want him gone.
But they're not different scenarios.
So that's the other thing that's so striking to me about this.
But was that the takeaway from your audience, or did they take away more that it was a hit piece? Like,
yeah, because the takeaway from his audience was that he's poking holes in her story. That's the takeaway.
Like,
Well, I think a lot of people believe that this was a
you say it strengthens her claim, but I haven't seen that be the reaction to what the reporting is. It seems like people are taking that as a way to dismiss it.
No, what you're seeing is that, like, within a minute of the article being published, long before I did my own reporting, a huge portion of the public thought that this was a political hit job. Like, period. Like a huge portion.
And then they read the article and they changed their minds.
Particularly in DC, said, this is damning, he needs to go. A huge number of people do not have trust in our institutions and believed that this was an engineered, orchestrated hit job. That's what you're seeing. And so for those people, they may also pick up on what we reported and circulate that. But that is an authentic kind of reaction that a lot of people have had, but it
and
hasn't
in Maine,
been,
yes,
and
right?
in Maine, it's not represented at all in the media. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, and I think we can move on to the less granular media focused part of the story and maybe talk more about the political
fucking flashbacks to Ezra Klein right now. Scenario 1, no means no. Scenario 2, no actually means yes.
Fallout here, because the reality is that Platner's branding as an outsider, right? And the other pieces that had come out against him prior to this about the tattoo and about the unsettling behavior had, contributed to an outsider status that had benefited him with Maine voters because of a justified mistrust of the National Democratic Party that has consistently let them down. And what I find kind of aggravating about this story is that there is this driving impulse by the national press to...
I'm so fucking dead. I lost too much HP. What did I even pick up? Oh yeah, I didn't get any cards that get block. Whatever.
Disregard.
All right, whatever. We're fucking done here. Oh, let's see what Sean DeBlack is up to 4 weeks ago. White leftist racism. Is it 4 weeks ago?
That kind of feels like anti-black racism, but that doesn't exist, right? What really exists is anti-white racism. And I know that it exists because I heard it from my favorite journalist, Ryan Grimm.
Against my
Ryan Grimm catching strays. Oh yeah, this was what Vadim was talking about. People like Crystal Ball and Emma Vigeland have essentially turned into Trump supporters for the left. That quote by the Tabernacle sums it up nicely. I mean, I don't know, dude. If Crystal Ball supporting Graham Platner still? Like, there's the thing is, you can't say they're Trump supporters when they actually turn against a guy who was accused of rape. I just don't buy that. There are red flags, right? And then there's rape. You can support someone with red flags because they're the best alternative in a race. Like Kamala Harris, a lot of red flags. A lot of people didn't support them, but there was a lot of people that said, yeah, I still would rather have Kamala Harris than Donald Trump. It's not being a Trump supporter. It's not the same as being a Trump supporter. And then there's rape. And look, don't get me wrong. Genocide is worse than rape. If there was a way to cancel the presidential candidates in 2024 for their support of genocide, then everyone would have been on the front lines for that. It just so happens that in this country, and especially in the Democratic Party, being a rapist is more disqualifying than being a genocide supporter. So we're gonna watch this video. I'm sure that Ryan Grimm has said some silly shit, but I'll watch some like Tabernacle videos too.
I stand
all of these reverse racists
with my Caucasian brethren.
Enough.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I do. So many anti-white racists are just walking around here on the left, and it's unfair. Hashtag white lives do matter. Right? I threw up the W. Brave, thank you. Anyway, you might be wondering how we got here.
White fist emoji.
You might be wondering, Sean, what are you talking about? And are you asking, also, some of you also might be wondering, Sean, did you see what was posted in the Discord and then immediately decide to go live? And the answer is yes. Yes, I did. I wasn't really doing anything. I was watching Suits with my mom. Then my mom took the dogs out for a walk. And I was sorting my magic book. And I was like,
my magic book? Bro, Sean, we gotta play some MTG.
All right, we're gonna do it. But for those of you who don't know, I see a clip in the Discord. I want to show you this clip, and I want to show you timestamp that somebody else showed me in the chat just now. I'm talking about this. I see this clip that said, Ryan Grimm says he's glad Platner won because it's forced progressives to confront bigotry against white men, comparing it to people...
Wait, what the fuck is this? Ryan Grimm says he's glad Platner won because it's forcing progressives to confront bigotry against white men? Oh, let's go full screen for this. Comparing it to people coming out of the closet to address homophobia. What? If he had said this while we worked together at The Intercept, HR would have pushed him into lava? Okay, what the fuck is Ryan Grimm on about?
Coming out of the closet to address homophobia. If he said this while he worked at The Intercept, HR would have pushed him into lava.
And a lot of people were dunking all over Chris Rabb for it. I think this is an important and needed conversation to have. That's one reason that I'm glad that Platner's in the race, because he's forcing this conversation. And you can't, I don't think you can kind of force people you can't force it back in, but what you can do is have that conversation. Like, and talk to people like, why are people so passionately supportive of Platner?
Tease it out. Yeah.
And then get from people like, why do you hate him so much?
What? Bro, it was fairly well documented why people on the left and, to be honest, like, let's be honest, liberals had issues with Graham Platner. He was a embattled candidate from both flanks of his party.
Like, what is it like? Because for Rab, and for I think a lot of others, it's just aesthetics. It's like that he looks like
It's just aesthetics.
somebody they don't like.
I think that's correct. I mean,
And that's why one.
Bro, you dog.
Standpoint epistemology for white men. Bro, it's so fucking funny. Oh my god. Like, did Ryan Grimm see like a Twitter comment and he's like, that says, oh, Graham Platner is just like John Fetterman, both self-centered white people. And then he's like, I'm so glad that Graham Platner won the primary because there's a big issue with anti-white racism on the left. Dude, is he just like fucking Twitter brained right now?
Suck my nut. Genuinely. Like, what Chris Rabb said, if you didn't see yesterday, watch the stream yesterday, but what Chris Rabb said basically was like, when it comes to Graham Platner, it's obvious that he's getting a lot of leeway for his behavior that I wouldn't get as a black person because he is white. That's what the crux of the conversation, right? And this is Ryan Grimm's response. Ryan Grimm is like, well, I think Chris Rabb actually feels like that because it's completely about aesthetics, right? He looks at a Graham Platner and he sees a white man, and obviously that's wrong and unjust.
Want that conversation because I feel like we can maybe break through.
It's a great conversation for you in particular to have because we've been talking about this for a long time. And
it's a flip side of back in
Ryan Grimm's been talking about how white people aren't accepted in the Democratic Party enough for a long time.
In the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And 2000s. When the gay rights movement was gaining steam.
The thing is, like, Ryan Grimm has some decent reporting, but Jesus Christ, he has such bad instincts. His instincts are so bad. Like, he's so crusty.
What
the Barney Frank argument?
What people discovered, is that you've got a gay uncle.
Listen, Chatter, you can call me a liberal, you can't call me a liar. Call me a liberal, you can't call me a liar.
You actually, once people started coming out of the closet,
the Andrew Sullivan argument.
Yeah, once people started coming out of the closet, like, oh, that guy's gay. I love that guy. He's great, and my life is fine around him. This is
so he's saying we need more white representation in Congress.
The reverse for liberals. It's like, this is a white guy, and he's actually pretty nice.
A big burly combat vet.
Big burly combat.
Also, you peeped that
he's actually pretty nice. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, we don't have enough white exposure. Bro, what the fuck is his take? We don't have enough white exposure in the Democratic Party. The problem with the Democratic Party is it's not white enough. Is that actually what Ryan Grimm is saying in this clip that has over 200,000 views a month ago?
He called Chris Rabb a liberal here, by the way. Chris Rabb, who's actually a member of the DSA, right? Graham Platner disavowed being like a socialist, disavowed being left wing. You are a liberal. You are a racist, Chatter, and I don't take racist opinions seriously. And so is Ryan Grimm. I'll stop bearing the lead. So is Ryan Grimm. Ryan Grimm's a racist. Ryan Grimm is a racist.
Not wrong.
I had this inkling 8 months ago, a year ago, right? This qualifies it for. This verifies it. Right, Ryan Grimm. Ryan, thank you, Chris Rufo. Right, thanking a Nazi. Thank you, Chris Rufo, for killing affirmative action or DEI because it was impeding class consciousness. Like that is a racist sentiment. And this also is like we are not talking more about a white men. We need to be talking more about white men.
I know,
please, let's talk more about white men. We need to center white men's feelings. And why that Chatter got so mad at me is because I'm not doing that. And I don't do that. Chatter is a white person. I guarantee it. That Chatter is a white person, right? Post your arm in your unban request if you're not. But she won't do that. Because you're bitch made. Cheddar's a white person, right?
Damn, bro,
and white
called
people
out.
get mad when they are not the center of the conversation. White people, you know when people say like, it's not 2020 anymore. We moved past woke one. Woke one was so long ago. We're not doing it anymore. That's because they hated woke one because they were not the center of the conversation. There is not a single white person who says that, who is not resentful that black people had a little bit of attention during 2020. Not a single one. Anybody who looks back at woke one and is like, yeah, we're not in that anymore. We're in a different state. We're in woke 2.0. We're in dark woke. That is from resentment. They resent that they are not the center of the conversation. And they hate anybody who tells them this truth. So they push them out of the movement. That's it. They push them out of the movement. It's silly. It's silly. And Mons, you can check that chatter too. Probably a Hassan chatter. You cannot call me a liberal if you're a Hassan chatter. I'm more left-wing than Hassan is, bro. I am more left than Hassan is. Like, I just want to point that out very clearly right now, right? And I like Hassan. No beef at Hassan. No beef. And that's fine. That is okay. But you cannot call me a liberal. You cannot. You cannot do it. Because that's racist. You are a racist. Like, this is just true. Black people are liberals. White people who will disagree with Hassan are ultra. That's the divide. If you're black and you disagree with Hassan, you're a liberal. If you're black and you disagree
I'm sitting down and listening right now.
With Ryan Grimm, you're a liberal. If you're a white and you disagree with Ryan Grimm, same metric. You are an ultra.
An ultra? Dude, I'm like, I do not know enough lingo to keep up with this conversation. Ryan has been like this for a while. It's one of the most things. I mean, dude, he's so fucking stupid. He's just like, Ryan Grimm has a personality hiccup where he just gets stuck onto a narrow track and will refuse to get off of it. And basically 100% of the time, that narrow track mind is anti-establishment. Like, when I just remember in COVID, when COVID happened, he just refuses to believe the evidence that COVID was a naturally occurring disease, and it had to, according to Ryan Grimm, it had to have came from the lab. And he had a conversation with the Majority Report back in like 2020, talking about the lab leak theory, just sounding absolutely insane, and he gets destroyed by Sam Cedar when Sam's just like asking him basic questions about the COVID, the origin of COVID. Like he just, I don't know. It's like he doesn't think critically about things. And he is kind of conspiracy brain, and you see that again and again and again, and he can't get out of his own way. Like, he really can't get outside of himself. If he's friends with Graham Platner, then of course the shit that people say about Graham Platner is automatically wrong. There's so much anti-white racism against Graham Platner. We need to fight anti-white racism, and it's good that Graham Platner won the nomination because he's a white guy, and we need to show that white people aren't scary. Oh, there was a rape allegation against him? Well, let's nitpick the rape allegation and say that actually it wasn't as bad as the original article is trying to make it out to be. Like, it's like anti-conspiracy, and also, let's just be honest. Let's be woke about it. It's a lot of white privilege coming from Ryan Grimm as well.
Your differences with your Renaissance left-wing beliefs. I'm not going to get into it too much. I'm not going to get too deep into it. Right, because it's not like a huge gap or whatever, but I just did the philosophy on electoralism. Hassan subscribes to less people voting. I don't, but because I talk about black issues and I come from a black perspective, as FD, I'm saying in terms of self-identification and advocacy.
Bro, this is the funniest thing to me though. Like, every time I hear someone say I outflank Hassan, I'm more left than Hassan. It's always like, I don't think electoralism works. Like, okay. Yeah, I guess that's the biggest thing then. Like, what are you, crossing your fingers and hoping that a revolution happens? Like, there's that one girl, or I don't know, femme presenting person on TikTok, and they're always talking about like, oh, real communists don't think that electoralism can bring about any actual change. so we need to have a revolution. Like, okay, yeah, I guess things aren't changing. Is the revolution happening soon? Like, when can I schedule that into my calendar? When just tell me when the revolution's gonna happen.
Because I've never heard FD embrace socialism, just progressive policy. I think FD definitely was like more liberal than Hassan was 2 years ago, right? But and this is a problem with people, and talking about black people, not you, obviously. People, I know you're black, right? But like the problem is that like black people's positions can never change, right? FD was more liberal than both me and Hassan at one point, and now, right, at his own admission, he's done more research, right? Time has passed since the election, and he's now more leftist, right? He's changed his position. He's moved on his position, right? Now he's also like against less people voting, right? He's anti less people voting, and that's where the difference lies, right? So that's the issue. But in the minds of racists,
The difference is against lesser evil voting,
right? Because I'm going to call it it is. I'm not saying white leftists anymore. In the mind of racists, right? Black people occupy a very specific role in the political class, right? It's, you know, you have white people who are allowed to be Nazis, white people who are allowed to be like moderate Republicans, white people who are allowed to be centrists, and then you have liberals who, some white people who just care too much about black issues are there, but then all black people are there. And then you have white people who are allowed to be socialists, and then white people who are allowed to be communists. You know what I mean? And that's it. That is it. So if you are a black person and you disagree with a white person on anything, you are automatically reduced back into this box of being a liberal. And that is it. That is your only political ideology that you can exhibit.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not in the circles that Sean DeBlack is talking about. If you are a non-white person and you disagree with leftist white people, then you're a liberal. Is he just talking about YouTube chat comments? Is he saying that Ryan Grimm would consider Sean DeBlack a liberal? Because I don't think that's the case.
And that's the issue. That's the problem. But these people will just close their ears to it, and they'll be like, yeah, no, you're a liberal, you're a liberal, you're a liberal. When they are supporting liberal establishment candidates. Well, I mean, not established. They're supporting liberal candidates, right? They're supporting progressive, which is...
Like, he's literally just talking about people in his chat right now. Someone called Sean DeBlack a liberal, and he's like, okay, well, if you're a black person and you don't agree with Hassan, then you're a liberal. It's... I don't know if you can make a prescriptive statement about the landscape of online politics from a single chat member. Like, it might just be a troll, and they know that you get triggered when they call you a liberal.
Still liberal candidates. They're supporting social democrats, which are still liberals, right? They have historically supported social democrats who are liberals. They are supporting people who are aligned with the establishment, right? Or who will align with the establishment, right? They're engaged with the electoral framework, which is inherently neoliberal. Like, stuff like that. I don't do that, but I still get called a liberal because they are the bestest of boys because they are white.
Bro, okay, what is this? I just want to add that it's obvious to a lot of white leftists that leftism to them is not about a coherent political ideology, but centered around what they personally like. If they like something, then it must be leftist because they are leftist. What the fuck? If they like something, then it must be leftist because they are leftist, and if they don't, it must be liberal because they are not liberal. Dude, are you talking about 5-year-old children? What do you mean? People with like oh my god, people with a coherent view of politics can see something they don't like and have the wherewithal to not automatically say that it's a liberal because they don't like it. What kind of weird community has Sean found himself in where anyone that doesn't like a thing calls it a liberal? This is why this... Okay, I'm just going to read this as it's written. I just want to add that it's obvious to a lot of white leftists that leftism to them... That it's obvious to a lot of white leftists that leftism to them is not about a coherent political ideology, but centered around what they personally like. It's obvious to a lot of white leftists that their self-described political identifier is not about a coherent political ideology, but centered around what they personally like. If they like something, then it must be leftist because they are leftist, and if they don't, it must be liberal because they are not liberal. This is why this phenomenon occurs. They view any critique they disagree with to be either liberal in nature, or liberal in practice when from a black person, or liberal in practice / serving liberalism when coming from a white person. Liberal in nature or liberal in practice, depending on the color of the skin of the person that it's coming from? Bruh, this is like too much leftist on leftist incestuous violence for me to deal with.
Liberals, it's like, this is a white guy, and he's actually...
He's saying this has happened before, and as a brown guy, I agree it does happen. People calling you a liberal? Like, Hassan gets called a liberal. Hassan gets called a liberal from people that are, like, to the left of him. Like, is it specific to black people? That's what I'm asking. Because what we started this conversation talking about is Ryan Grimm saying that we need more white people in the Democratic Party because Democrats are afraid of white people. And we need to prove that white people are kind of chill and fun. That's what we started talking about here. And now we're talking about Shonda Black being called a liberal and that white leftists call black people liberals because they're black? He's giving you his experiences using one chatter as an example. I mean, I don't know. This is too much for me. Maybe I'm just too white here.
Pretty nice.
A big burly combat vet.
Big burly combat vet.
Someone you
And
could
he's in
see
your
with Joe
family.
Rogan.
And he's
Yeah.
fine. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Like the current cultural divorce between kind of progressives and white men is so...
Like, I feel like there's two different issues. One person calling Shonda Black a liberal is a completely different issue than Ryan Grimm saying we need more white representation in the Democratic Party.
Like, stark.
Do you remember literally yesterday, people were yelling at me when I said the entirety of the political landscape is centered and catered around the experiences of white men? Remember when I said that literally yesterday? And chatters who were like, that's not true. That's not the case. And this is Ryan Grimm being like, yeah, I feel like we as progressives, we need to focus more on white men. There's a divorce between what progressives talk about and how they talk about white men. He's saying it, his own words, right now. This is Idpol. But
Yeah, Ryan Grimm is saying that.
for white men, right? But it's not seen as that because white men are the default, right? Right? But then like leftists, or I would say racists, get mad when they're like, when you try to correct that disparity, and they're like, well, why are you not thinking about the white man? Why do you want to seem to help out everybody except for cis, white men, able-bodied white men? Why do you want to help everybody else except for them? It's just like, but because they don't see the benefits that they get in society, and they resent black people, right, for the fact that they were the focus of the attention for 2 years. That's it. That's literally what it is. That is literally what it is. There's a reason why when I say something, everybody gets all open arms about me being a liberal, but Hassan will echo that exact sentiment 3 months later. Then they're like, yeah, that's base. That's true. That's right. That's still correct.
But I just want to know what Shonda Black is being called liberal for saying. He's being called liberal for saying that white Democrats have white privilege? Who would call him a liberal for saying that? How is that liberal at all? Unless it's true that there are just a lot of like 13-year-olds that consider themselves leftists and literally call every single thing they don't like liberal, and then they're also just racist against Sean.
With
family.
Joe Rogan.
And he's fine. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Like the current cultural divorce between kind of progressives and white men is so like stark that it's just culturally, morally, ethically wrong, but also just pragmatically from a political perspective, you can't build a national party.
Yeah.
If you assume every white guy or every white guy with a deep voice, a combat vet or whatever, is like out to get you.
Or if you talk about him in a way that implies he does have sort of built-in problems.
Right.
So
just inherent toxicity or something.
Yeah. Whether
Buddy, because Graham Platner does. Like, this is not even a conversation about like, you know, maybe the way that we talk about like white men being like calling them like colonizers or whatever, maybe that's unproductive. It's not even that conversation. Graham Platner is that guy. Graham Platner is a colonizer. He went to a like objectively speaking, he joined an occupying army.
I know. I feel like anyone calling Shonda Black a liberal is just going there to troll him. It's because when he says it, people accuse him of playing idpol, which is more liberal, I guess. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, if I mean, yeah, I'm just trying. I'm just trying to think of the. I'm trying to think of the personality type, or of the character type of a person that's like on Twitter. They see Shonda Black calling out Ryan Grimm as a. I don't even know what you would call it. As a racist, as a racist progressive commentator, right? Like racially insensitive at the very least. Shonda Black calls him out for being racially insensitive, and people say, "Oh, you're being liberal right now." It's a liberal to call someone out as racially insensitive, which I guess like the liberals have kind of ruined that because they use racial justice issues as a excuse to not have any kind of economic progressive policies at all. They use that as a cultural, and they use that as like a cultural war talking point in order to get away with not actually addressing the material conditions of their constituents. And so any type of racial issues is a liberal position. Maybe it's that like, is it that anyone that talks about things that isn't specifically the economy liberal, and then because when Shonda Black and people like FD Signifier talk about racial issues, they're being accused of liberal for doing that? Maybe. I guess that would make sense if he experiences that a lot on Twitter.
Multiple times, being fully aware that it was bad, went to other nations and did exactly violent colonialism. Violent colonialism. He was a guard at a death camp, exactly. So this is not even a conversation about maybe the left is too meanie bobini to white men or whatever. Like, Graham Platner is not that guy, bro. Graham Platner is not that guy. People want people to move on from Totenkopf so fast? No, not even. Not even, because Ryan Grimm is out here defending the Totenkopf. They're like, Ryan Grimm is out here being like, I'll show you the tweet. Yada, 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 something about voters and tattoo, whatever. It's really as simple as this for the vast majority of voters. When you say Nazi tattoo, normal people think swastika, then people find out it's this, and the Republicans look silly. Not that's the only reason not to vote for him, but his excuse is laughable. This isn't just the swastika, it's a symbol specifically for the SS units. They were elite Nazis. Looks like something from Grateful Dead. Like, he's like defending Graham Platner having an actual Nazi tattoo. He's defending.
Looks like something from the Grateful Dead. I mean, come on, like. The thing with the Nazi tattoo is, like, even if you don't know that it's a Nazi tattoo, it's clearly like fascist iconography. Let's not kid ourselves here. Which it makes sense he would get fascist iconography when he's serving an imperialist military excursion.
The Nazi tattoo itself. The Nazi tattoo itself. He's not just saying, "Oh, he didn't know. Nobody knows what it is." It's like, well, it just looks like a symbol from Grateful Dead. It just looks like a regular skull and crossbones, it's whatever. Like, it's just insane.
So
just inherent toxicity or something.
Yeah, whether you're talking about racism or sexism, yes. And
if you believe that, you can
And he said both of those things. He's been racist and sexist on the timeline. People are not making this up. People are not making this up. He has been racist and sexist on the timeline. This idea that the left is like looking at a white man and they're like, "Oh, he must be racist because he's a white man," or "He must be sexist because he's a white man." Like, this idea is...
He literally said he got a skull to represent what he did in Fallujah and Ramadi. He got a fucking fascist tattoo while doing a fascist thing. Like, anyone that's trying to say that he doesn't know what it is bullshit. It doesn't matter if he knows what it is. It's kind of like a happy little accident that he did get a Nazi symbol because he was doing Nazi shit and he got it to represent the shit that he was doing. And then also it's hilarious that he got the tattoo changed to like a Norse rune.
Insane. He has said these things on the timeline.
I said earlier, like, that there's a particular problem that Democratic liberals kind of have with white guys. And it is particular to white guys. It's also all guys. Like,
yes. Black and Hispanic men went for Trump, and he made real inroads with Black and Hispanic men for a reason.
This isn't true, by the way.
What the fuck are they talking about? The Democrats have an issue with white guys, and that's why Black and Hispanic men went for Trump? Yeah, because what black and Hispanic men want is more white men to vote for. Like, what the fuck are they talking about? If only we ran more white male candidates, that would get the black and Hispanic vote back.
This is not true. Hispanic men, yes, maybe a little bit, right? This is not true for black men. Is Ryan Grimm, respected journalist Ryan Grimm, going to call her out for this falsehood, this fallacy? Black men went for Kamala Harris in like the second highest degree after black women. It was black women and then black men and then everybody else. Everybody else. They did not lose black men. Black men did not vote for Kamala Harris, right? Because this is how she lost. She lost all demographics. They didn't vote. Trump did not see any meaningful change or a meaningful movement in regards to black men. 2% less black men voted for Kamala. Reindeer alarms is our fault. And a lot more didn't vote at all. It's just, it's so silly. It's so silly.
And I also think people don't fully internalize. They hear him say that he did 4 combat tours. They hear him say that. I don't think they internalize what that means, and in particular, what it means to have been a Marine in Ramadi and Fallujah.
Yeah, you were killing people. What are you talking about? I don't think they're really cynical.
Yeah, what the fuck is he talking about? Sovereign Blade now gains 10 block. That has glam, so it would be replayed once. Choose a card in your hand to transform into Minion Strike. That's pretty good. Pretty good doubled. Or I get 20 block every time I play a Sovereign Blade. Let's try to go for a Sovereign Blade deck.
I mean, Graham Platner enough in this conversation. They don't think about what it's like to be him. Yeah, and I think a lot of people who have an issue with him, you know, are thinking about the people he was killing. Maybe. That's what I'm thinking about, personally.
You could just go Google, like, Ramadi Marines 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Google death count. Like, how many people did they murdered? Yeah, do that, actually. Because they come back and inform us.
There's movies about it, but there's also lots of, like, real-time footage that has been captured of, and Ramadi in particular, at the time.
I'm sorry, I gotta say, this is hypocritical of Ryan Grimm.
What the fuck is Ryan Grimm even talking about? He's trying to say that, like, it was a brutal war zone? Is that what he's saying? Is that why he's like, oh, people don't understand the sacrifice that Graham Platner put in for this country?
For some stuff the IDF does. That's immoral. It's hypocritical. Hypocritical. You can't do this. You can't do this. I'm sorry, you can't. This is hypocritical. Is Ryan Grimm in 20 years going to be like, I would just Google what happened on October 7th? Just Google it and see what the Israelis were dealing with. Just look it up. Just Google it. There are videos out there. There's actually this very good documentary that was done. It was very, very, very well received at the time, by the way. Very good documentary that talked about like 40 beheaded babies. It's very sad. A very sad thing. Do we not believe anything anymore? Do we not believe anything? Or do we not have any guiding principles? Like literally at all? Genuinely, at all. This is identity politics. Ryan Grimm sees a white man be unjustly maligned, and he's like, no, I must defend him. I must defend him.
And he's doing the exact same thing now. He a month later, after he got accused of rape, doing the exact same fucking thing.
I need to defend him because I need to defend me. Because I'm a white man. Let me think about how white men are treated by the left sometimes. People are just so mean to white men. They're just like super meanie bo beanie to white men. And I don't really like that. White men are overrepresented in government still. In all levels of government, white men are overrepresented. White men are overrepresented in leadership, right? Upper management in companies, in the C-suite, right? Black men are overrepresented in the prison system. Don't talk to me about the oppression that white men face. You're a journalist. I expect better from you.
He's taking him seriously because Ryan Grimm does have a position on the left. He does have a voice that people respect, and like, I don't know, he's fucking awful. He's very bad.
I expect better from you. What are we talking about here? This idea that like there's this like unfair, unjust malignment or malignance when it comes to the way that white men interact with society is laughable. You should be embarrassed of yourself, right? And it's not even just it's not even just Ryan Grimm. It's Keith Edwards as well. Keith Edwards said a progressive presidential candidate in 2020 told me that they wanted to hire, but they had too many white men on the campaign. Oh, you poor baby. You poor
Keith Edwards, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, people coming out of the woodwork to defend the idea that we need more white men in politics.
Poor baby. Oh no. Oh no, you couldn't join the what, like 80% of like of white men? Not 80%, right? Maybe 75% of white men on Capitol Hill, or in the staffer suite as a white staffer. Oh, you couldn't.
What is this?
Staffer.
Overall, about 74% of Democratic staff and 94% of Republican staff are white. Yeah. 62% of the U.S. population is white.
Oh, you couldn't join that? Because that's so sad. Is it so sad? This is the same thing. This is the same thing as conservatives crying about how they didn't get the job because they're a white man. This is Charlie Kirk. You are Charlie Kirk. You carry the flag, bro.
All right, let me tell you exactly what I said,
Sure,
okay? So this was in response, first and foremost, to United Airlines saying that half of all their new pilots that they're going to hire are going to be women or people of color. Currently, they're 15%. Okay. So they want to go from 15% to 50%.
I know. I'm so sad that Lindsey Graham died. He didn't get to see... he didn't even outlive Mitch McConnell. Fuck. Yeah. Lindsey Graham never found out what the One Piece is.
A conversation that ensued about how every time affirmative action is employed, standards have to be lowered.
Skip.
There's not
People tried to say that it was just liberals, and I've been trying to tell people for months and months and months that it's not just liberals, that leftists were doing this too, and they called me a liar. They called me a liar, and you have Ryan Grimm right here saying exactly that, saying that the left is being too mean about beating the white man, left is doing reverse racism to white men, and we're losing white men, and it's the problem that needs more reactionary. It's centering white voices again. They hated that white voices was not the center point of the woke conversation, and they want to change it back to the status quo. They are no different than the right-wingers. No different. They are white supremacists. They are racist. This is racism. It is. This is racism. This is white supremacy. This is white identitarianism. This is no different than Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk said the same thing as this, verbatim. You can find clips of Charlie Kirk saying the same thing as this, right? That white men en masse are losing their jobs to unqualified black people. Exact same thing.
God,
and they're comfortable saying it now because they realize other white people are with them, right? They look to their left and they see Kyle Kalinske dropping slurs. They look to their right and they see Ryan Graham and they're saying,
Kyle Kalinske dropping slurs? What slurs is Kyle Kalinske dropping?
and I'm in good company now. I can finally say this because I couldn't say this before. We can finally talk about how I'm being maligned as a white man because we couldn't talk about that before. And that's it.
Damn, I wanted to see what Kyle Kalinske was up to in this video, and it's just a throwaway line of him dropping slurs, apparently. Okay. Hassan interview. What was the Hassan interview that just came out? I thought there was one that like came out a bit ago. The old tweets. I'm pretty online, but I haven't heard any leftists crying about white men's feelings. I mean, other than Ryan Grimm, apparently. Yeah, Ryan Grimm, not the best. Sorry.
Comes into the house.
What is the... Bro, Hutch's reaction is so fucking comical.
And then it gives...
Wait, he's watching Destiny? Okay, that's too many layers of commentary for me. Didn't Hassan, like, have a fucking interview? Am I off on this? It's like a MSNBC interview? I'll look this up. Oh, yeah. Let's watch. I did want to watch Noah Sampson and the Ethan Klein lawsuit.
Hey everybody, I've got a big lawsuit update for you. It's over. Ethan Klein has dropped his defamation lawsuit against me. He filed a motion to dismiss the case with prejudice, meaning that he cannot sue me for the claims in this lawsuit ever again. It's over. We won. I mean, kind of. We didn't really win anything. In fact, I actually lost like a bunch of time and money and peace of mind and all that. But I am no longer being sued, so I guess we'll take it. This lawsuit and the legal threats leading up to it have been a massive year-long headache. I'm super glad that it's over. I can get back to just focusing on videos. And we also get to donate the money we raised for my legal defense, which after subtracting the fees should still be about $100,000. Unfortunately, right now, GoFundMe is holding the funds for review. We've given them all the information they need and we haven't heard back. It's been super frustrating. Hopefully it gets cleared up soon. And once it does, I'll be posting an update on community posts or maybe a video. In the meantime, consider donating to Project Sarsour, which is where the money will go. It's my friend Ahmed's project. He lives in Gaza and the money will go to help families there and a number of other projects. Anyways, so the first question you might have here is what happened? Why did Ethan drop the lawsuit? And right now, I don't have a firm answer for that. Ethan hasn't commented publicly and did not respond to my requests for comment. But now that it's been dropped with prejudice and with no confidentiality clauses, I'm able to talk openly about everything that happened. And I think by the end of the video, we should have a little bit more of an idea as to how this all played out the way that it did. So first, a brief recap. In March of last year, I released this video, The YouTubers Who Backed a Genocide. It was a response to a video from Ethan Klein called Content Nuke Hassan Piker. In that video, I highlighted a bunch of statements from several prominent content creators and used those statements to demonstrate the way that the Western media apparatus has helped to normalize Israel's genocide in Gaza. Things like atrocity propaganda, misinformation about groups resisting Israel, and Zionist historical narratives. Ethan Klein responded to the video by immediately threatening to sue me for defamation. He issued a cease and desist and demanded that I take the video down and apologize or else he would sue me. He dedicated a few episodes of his podcast to issuing these sorts of threats.
All he has
Oh my god. Itamir Ben-Gvir. Guys, look at this post. This is hilarious. It's raining in Israel. Itamir Ben-Gvir, wanted terrorist, a guy who's afraid of coming to the U.S. on grounds that he's going to get arrested for war crimes, has posted that Israel has lost one of its greatest friends in Lindsey Graham. Today, Israel has lost one of its greatest friends. What's his accent like? I'm so bad at the Israeli accent. Senator Lindsey Graham stood with Israel not because it was easy, but because he believed it was right. His unwavering support, courage, and moral clarity earned him the admiration of millions of Israelis. The state of Israel will always remember his friendship, his unwavering support, and his steadfast commitment to Israel's security. Jesus Christ. Kyle used to say the N-word a lot 15 years ago, or at least tweet it. Okay. I mean, let's go. Let's go to Kyle Kalinski's Twitter. He says he never deletes anything, right? Kyle, although I'm not. Kyle Kalinski. Can I sort this? Can I sort? Can I sort his tweets? I'm not searching this up. How do I go back to the fucking Is it impossible? Dude, he tweets so much. Is it impossible? Is it possible at all to like sort his tweets by oldest? I'm not. That's like 6 days ago. This is not happening. If you can tell me what to search up, I'll do it. I'm not gonna do that. Okay. All right. Let's continue about this Ethan Klein lawsuit.
to do to avoid getting sued is apologize for everything he said and did. He started his second video by saying, Ethan's threatened to sue me. It's not a threat. I'm going to sue you. Noah said in his second video, Ethan's threatening to sue me. Have fun with that, I guess. He said, well, I'm about to have fun with it. And unfortunately, I don't think you're going to be having much fun with it.
But I kept the video up. After speaking with several lawyers, I felt pretty confident that I'd be able to defend against a defamation suit. And I also believe that the cease and desist was just a scare tactic, as they're commonly used, to get me to delete my criticism from the internet. The deadline passed and I didn't hear anything from Ethan, and it seemed like everything was good. But then a year later, 2 days before the statute of limitations was up, Ethan actually filed the lawsuit. He alleged that I defamed him with 6 statements, including the title and thumbnail of my video and various other claims that I made. He was seeking unlimited damages and a jury trial. When you
Feels like a trap.
get served a defamation lawsuit, you have 30 days to respond or face default. So I spent the majority of my time the next few weeks looking everywhere to find a lawyer just to file a reply. I was being quoted upwards of $100,000, which is obviously pretty stressful because I don't have that kind of money on hand. So I ended up doing a fundraiser, and I fundraised as much as I could. We got not quite to the goal, but over $100,000, which I thought was pretty good. But as the deadline approached and I started to get even more stressed out, I still hadn't found a lawyer. That's when I got in touch with Deborah Drews. Deborah Drews is an LA-based attorney who specializes in defamation law. And honestly, I owe her my life. She's an incredible lawyer, and
Hungry? I condemn Kyle. That's not okay at all.
From our first conversation, she showed genuine interest in this case. She was
I'll look it up, but I'm not gonna. I'll type in hungry.
also willing to work at a major discount, which is what made it possible to donate most of this money that we raised. So anyways, I retained Deborah's counsel, of course, and we began working on our response. Our approach was going to be to file an anti-SLAPP motion. The SLAPP in anti-SLAPP stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation, and the statute was designed to prevent powerful people from weaponizing their resources to silence dissent from critics that cannot sustain a long-term legal battle. A successful anti-SLAPP motion can dismiss frivolous lawsuits before they even go to trial and force the plaintiff, in this case it would be Ethan, to pay the defendant's legal fees. As our work on the case progressed, we started to feel like we'd put together a pretty strong case. But then, just a few days before the filing deadline,
oh my god, dude, Kyle, look at Noah's beautiful smiling face. Unacceptable, Kyle. Absolutely unacceptable. In 2011, it's like, what, 7 years before I started watching him? What are the replies here? What are the fucking replies? 9 years. We're all hungry. Incredible, it's still up. 2021. Kinda amazed. This is still up every time I see it. Jesus Christ. More from this author, Hunter Biden. Ryan, why did Ryan Gosling is retweeting it? Hungry. The hashtag things I always see on my TL. Welp, you just lost a subscriber. Old yikes, but still yikes. Dude, what the fuck is this bullshit? Oh my god. Kyle is not, he is not wrong when he says he never deletes a tweet. Oh my god. Someone posted the Try Witch. Embarrassing, but you've got to admit he's got balls to leave it up. Edgelord shit. I can't get over this tweet. Guys, don't worry, I'm sure you had an N-word pass. Why even tweet that? Dude, Kyle, look, we all know how fucking edgy Kyle is as like a 39-year-old man. This was 15 years ago. Like, did he even have a YouTube channel at that point? Maybe he had just started it. I think he might have been doing it as like a hobby for a few years. Like, dude, Kyle, he's an edgy boy. Let's be honest, this is an edgy boy. However, if we're gonna talk about the racist left, like the left that wants to quiet down the voices of non-white people in their communities, I don't think Kyle Kalinske falls into that category for having a fucking stupid ass tweet 15 years ago. Dude, this is fucking hilarious. But I want to see more evidence of this, or for like this decade maybe, of shit for Shonda Black to do a throwaway line of like Kyle Kalinske saying racial slurs at the end of his video. Because Ryan Grimm saying that we need to center white people in the Democratic Party is fucking hilarious and should be called out by Shonda Black. Kyle Kalinske's tweet from 2011 about being hungry. Holy shit, this is like the funniest thing that I've seen. We need some more edginess on the left, maybe not tweeting like Kyle though. Yeah, I think that's fair. Why did he say this? I'm a witch and I'm evil. What was the other tweet that he did? I need to look this one up. Hashtag things I'm tired. Okay, we'll try to look up the other one. See, we're unlocking deep Kyle lore. I love how there's no context for this at all. Hungry. I'm tired. This will probably reveal more things than I wanted it to. This kind of fucking Trump have with a barbecue chicken. Hashtag things I always see on my TL. Hashtag things I always see on my TL. Quote? Yeah, also in 2011. Jesus Christ. He should have just, like, honestly made a new Twitter account after 2011. Fake a hoe calling someone else a hoe. Okay, honestly, like, the quotes on this make it less bad than this one. Jesus Christ, man. Kyle says, I'm tired of seeing a hoe calling someone else a hoe. How are there no responses to this? This is amazing. At 1 p.m. in the afternoon, the day before Halloween, Kyle's tweeting, I'm tired of seeing a hoe calling someone else a hoe. They're both from the 2010s. Look up McDonald's obnoxious. Oh god. All right. This is not a good path that we're going down. McDonald's obnoxious. Did he actually delete this one? Does the search reveal anything? From Kyle Kalinske, McDonald's obnoxious. That one might have actually been down. Doesn't look like it revealed anything. Anyway, holy crap. Kyle Kalinski's Twitter from the 2010s is wild. I'll try one more time. Search. Oh, I missed it? McDonald's obnoxious. July 8th. Is this what it is? I don't think Republicans get it that we simply don't care what they have to say about anything. I feel like we're regressing in every single way. I think they're immune. Go down. The U.S. is going to be studied like Nazi Germany with the laughing stock of all future humans. For one, time to sue. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I don't know. They're calling it the most normal country in the world. Flight instructor. I'm looking for something older. Oh, here we go. Oh my god, dude, in fucking 2012 is OD obnoxious. Okay, how old is Kyle Kalinski's YouTube channel? Sidney Graham is dead. Kyle Kalinske. Let's find a video. Why is the top video, when you search him up, just him looking cozy as hell in his bed, looking like he just got tucked in by his crystal ball mommy, saying, praise be to Allah. Fucking 19 hours ago, Kyle Kalinske coming at us from the comfort of his comforter with the title, praise be to Allah. I honestly, when I saw this video, I thought it was going to be praise be to Allah, Lindsey Graham is dead. Deranged Trump threatens to completely... Again? Another praise be to Allah? Holy Christ, man. Lord. It's also the fact that he's been doing videos from his car while wearing a tank, like a too tight tank top for the past 2 weeks is fucking hilarious. Okay, let's go oldest. 18 years ago. We're looking for like 16 years ago. Citigroup's $50 million jet. Nut job of the week, 16 years ago, 15 years ago. Here we go. This is the man that is tweeting about obnoxious people on his timeline and in McDonald's. What are we looking for? 2,000 players sue NFL for head trauma. Let's see something that could be a little bit edgy. Common Sense Award. Nicki Minaj. Okay, here we go. This is the edgiest that we could get.
Job of the week is Nicki Minaj. Now, I know I'm a week or two back from when this story broke, but I've been itching to talk
Honestly, though, way ahead of his time. Nicki Minaj, Trump supporter in like 2024, coming out and campaigning with Trump, trying to get her rapist husband pardoned or released from prison.
About this. On Lil Wayne's new mixtape Dedication 4, 5th track, the song Mercy, she said this.
Bro, Kyle Kalinske dropping his fucking in-depth rap game knowledge from the early 2010s. He's talking about different rap verses and the collaborations that the artists do with each other.
Job of the week is Nicki Minaj. Now, I know I'm a week or two back from when this story broke, but I've been itching to talk about this. On Lil Wayne's new mixtape Dedication 4, 5th track, the song Mercy, she said this.
I'm a Republican voting for Mitt Romney. You lazy bitches is fucking up.
Kyle's locked in on that shit. He fucking sniped Nicki Minaj rapping about it being a Republican voting for Mitt Romney and calls her out on it.
Now, do I really care what Nicki Minaj thinks about politics? Hell no. But multiple things annoyed me about this. Number one, she said afterwards, when pressed by reporters, "It's one of the characters I play, I'm just kidding." Then all of the annoying celebrity stalker creeper websites were like, no, she was kidding, she loves Obama. Yeah, she's not a Republican. They were acting as if they actually cared what Nicki Minaj thought about politics, and it was vital to their peace of mind that she doesn't vote for Mitt Romney. It's kind of pathetic. But here's the thing.
It's kind of pathetic.
I don't think she's kidding. If you do a little research, you find that on June 19th, 2012, she took to Twitter to talk about healthcare. Her friend Yvette Wilson died tragically at the age of 48 after a long battle with cervical cancer, and she tweeted to the president, quote, "What's sad is that when Yvette was bringing home the bacon, the government was probably taking millions. On her deathbed, though, nowhere to be found. That should be a God-given right. Even with Obamacare, too much involved." Whatever that means.
whatever that means.
Just give free healthcare to all, at Barack Obama. I wouldn't mind the millions they took if it was going to healthcare. Why should a poor person struggle to pay for meds, sir? Now, on the substance, she's spot on in that the ideal system would be Medicare for all, a single-payer healthcare system.
Bro, fucking 16 years ago, and he's still... Dude, Kyle is like the most consistent guy out there. The one issue that Kyle has had, or that he did have, is that he's too charitable to conservatives. That's the one issue he had. Like, for the longest time, he's like, Joe Rogan can be changed, right? But he's like advocating for Medicare for all in fucking 2012.
System like every other modern country has one form or another of. But she's very explicitly angry at the government, and particularly the president, in her tweets. When insurance companies are the problem, and even in her friend Yvette's particular case, companies wouldn't cover her because she had a pre-existing condition, so she spent all her money on treatment to the point that she had to ask for people for donations. Ironically, that exact problem is one that's solved by the Affordable Care Act. Some of the provisions in the bill are it bans health insurance companies from rejecting people with pre-existing conditions. It provides subsidies to low-income people and tax credits to middle-income people to help pay for health insurance. It expands Medicare and Medicaid. It eliminates lifetime caps on spending that the insurance companies used to set on people and make it so that if they went through all the money that was allocated for them at a young age, which a lot of people do because they're born with conditions, then they're just screwed after that. It mandates that insurance companies spend 85% of their money on actual health coverage.
Dude, I fucking love how Kyle takes a Nicki Minaj song lyric and turns it into teaching people about the Affordable Care Act. Aged incredibly well. This aged well. Dude, comments from 5 months ago.
And not administrative costs. Kids are allowed to stay under their parents' health coverage until they're 26 years old. It used to be younger. And the Congressional Budget Office estimates that it will reduce the deficit by $127 billion. So Nikki has backpedaled on the song lyrics and criticism of Obama, I think mostly due to popular pressure and her not having any real political convictions. And most likely, what's going on in her head is what a lot of Americans engage in, where if they don't feel like things are going how they want it to be, instead of doing the homework and research and finding out what the candidates and the political parties stand for, they just shut off their brains and have an emotional, visceral reaction of, I'll vote for the other guy. Maybe he'll fix everything. But at least in my mind, Nikki is now in the ranks of these other Republican celebrities. Enjoy.
Oh, but he's showing other Republican celebrities? Dude, the fucking Kyle Kalinske editing is great.
But at least in my mind, Nikki is now in the ranks of these other Republican celebrities. Enjoy.
Gibson. Who that is. Whoa. Kelsey Grammer. Drew Barry or Drew Carey? For the last 5 seconds of the video is just static on John Boyd's face. Oh my god, hilarious. Alright, yeah. Kyle Kalinske, extremely racist.
And Ethan Klein reached out to us looking to open up settlement talks. Now, at first, I was taken aback. Ethan sued me, made me pay a bunch of money, stressed out me and my family, and now he's coming to me to settle? No, we're not doing that. That's not happening, especially given how strong we felt our defense was.
So basically, Ethan Klein threatened Noah Samsen with a lawsuit essentially a year and a half ago. It was complete bullshit. I went at the time I broke down the lawsuit, explaining how ridiculous it is, how Noah Samsen clearly laid out his definition for genocide and then gave supporting examples to support his thesis that Ethan Klein is supporting genocide. That's not defamation at all. That's laying out a thesis and then supporting it. Then Ethan Klein knows that he doesn't have this. He's trying to do some type of public W by threatening Noah Samsen. He's trying to get people on his side. He's trying to get people talking about him again. He's trying to be relevant. So then he actually goes through with the lawsuit after waiting the entire year, which is the longest amount of time that you possibly can wait. He's doing this just to fuck with Noah Samsen and to try to get some publicity onto himself again. Noah Samsen actually fights against it, and he doesn't want to settle because Ethan Klein's settlement is simply a public humiliation ritual. It's the same exact thing he did with Casey Tron. He publicly humiliated her and then is using that as a win that he can lord over his enemies on the internet. If you criticize me, if you're mean to me at all, I'm going to litigiously harass you and then make you do a public humiliation ritual just so I can, like, be a powerful man, and I don't know, maybe my wife will have sex with me or something. Noah Samsen obviously is in the right here. He has enough money to fight a legal defense, and he has the correct law on his side, so why would he settle with Ethan Klein? He doesn't need to.
But Deborah, in her infinite wisdom and expertise, suggested that we didn't know what their terms would be. Maybe they really wanted out of the lawsuit, and maybe their offer would reflect this, and it could be good for us. A settlement would end proceedings immediately, it would eliminate all risk, and it would free up the money that we'd raised to be donated right away. Depending on the specifics, that could be a pretty good deal. So we agreed to file an extension to start settlement talks, but nothing could have prepared me for what they came up with. In exchange for dropping his lawsuit, Ethan Klein wanted a public apology on my primary YouTube channel and Twitter account, pre-approved by Ethan, which would need to include a claim that he and his wife Hila have both supported the Palestinian cause.
Yep, and that's what he made Casey Tron do, right? This is the same exact playbook that he used on Casey Tron, which is funny here because Noah Samsen didn't accept this, and I'm sure that a portion of the settlement clause would say you cannot reveal the terms of the settlement on your YouTube channel. You can't talk about the settlement anymore. which is what he had Casey Tron do, and he kept saying like, "Oh, this is extremely authentic from Casey Tron. I didn't make her write it. This is all coming from the heart. I just wanted an apology." And Casey Tron, sorry, I can make this bigger. Casey Tron herself said that we supported Palestinians, so of course we did. We're not against genocide. Casey Tron said it, and I really believe that it was genuine. And now we're seeing the terms laid out in stark nakedness for everyone on the internet to read, and Ethan looks like a complete fucking egomaniac loser. Please, in order for me to not sue you, I need you to say that me and my wife never supported genocide. I need you to write me an apology and send it to me so I can read it and be like, you didn't suck my dick hard enough in your apology. So stupid. First to say he disagrees with my client and my client does too much. Like, what the fuck? Free to say he disagrees with my client and you're free to say that my client does too much to defend Israel, but you have to acknowledge that they've done a lot to support the Palestinian cause. They raised $6,000. Ethan Klein will simultaneously say that I've done a lot to support Palestinians. I voted against Netanyahu and I've raised over $6,000. But also say, it's great that you've raised a ton of money for Palestine, but has it really done anything? I mean, they're still being genocided.
Also wanted me to remove 6 separate videos from my YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure it's all the videos I've ever talked about him in, which includes several videos that are unrelated to the claims made in the actual lawsuit. He also wanted a non-disparagement clause, which would bar me from ever publicly criticizing Ethan again. They did include a potential provision to reimburse my legal fees to be donated to a mutually agreed upon charity, so that's great, but only if my public apology included an acknowledgement that Ethan replenished these funds so that they can go to charity. So these terms were, let's just call them inadequate, hard for us to accept, so we made a counteroffer. No apology, no confidentiality, full reimbursement for...
The fuck is this?
Hard for us to accept, so we made a counteroffer. No apology, no...
Mutual non-disparagement clause. Respectfully declined since this would limit the parties' free speech rights going forward. Yeah, so no apology and also no non-disparagement clause. That's so fucking funny that Ethan Klein, even in his settlement, had to handicap himself. It's a mutual non-disparagement clause. I won't say anything bad about Noah in the future. Remember when they insinuated that Noah Samson was a rapist? Because Dan, whatever the fuck his last name is like, I wouldn't be talking about consent if I was Noah. And Ethan's like, what does that mean? And Dan's like, we'll talk about it in the next episode. Then in the next episode, they had a woman call in and she was like, I had sex with Noah Samson once, and then he had sex with other people but didn't tell me, and then we had sex again. Like, okay. And they were insinuating that he was a rapist because he, like, hooked up with someone twice in the span of 2 months. No, but it's Noah Samson who's the one that is doing the disparaging. He's the one that's defaming Ethan Klein.
Confidentiality, full reimbursement for all of our legal fees, no deleting any videos outside of the ones which were about the lawsuit, which we felt would become irrelevant if it was settled, and then one public statement which would read as follows. Ethan and I disagree about a video I made in response to his video Content Nuke Hassan Piker. He thinks my video says one thing, and I think it says another. Both of us believe that YouTube is a place for free expression, and recognize the right to criticize each other's views. So we've decided to end our dispute amicably. Keeping it out of court frees up funds to help families in Gaza right now. We sent these terms over and didn't hear back, so we prepared to file our anti-slap motion. It was all ready to go. I was kind of excited. Honestly, Deborah cooked. But then a few days later, Ethan filed the motion to dismiss with prejudice. And that was it.
Oh my god, dude, that's so sad. Literally, Ethan Klein just uses lawsuits to try to get public apologies. I mean, he's saying that he wants to get a public apology from Frogan. He did get a public apology from Casey Tron. That's why he wanted Hassan so desperately to react to the content nuke, right? And remember how fucking embarrassing that was? Him begging Hassan to react to it. Him saying, why would I ever debate Hassan if he hasn't even watched the video? And Hassan saying, I'll watch the video with you. We'll watch it hand in hand and analyze every portion of it. What else? The Denims thing. He wanted a public apology from her. He wanted a public apology from Shonda Black when he threatened to sue him. We just got evidence that he wanted an apology from Noah Samson. He just wants to swing his dick around and make all of these people scared of him. because he's a fucking loser, and this is the only way that he can command any type of respect in his own twisted view of the world.
So back to that question of like what happened, why'd he back out? Because he hasn't publicly commented and he didn't respond to my request for comment, we can really only speculate. Maybe he did have a change of heart. Maybe he doesn't want to be the one that hands out lawsuits left and right to silence critics. And maybe if he were to admit this publicly and apologize for wasting my time and money and acting like a freak throughout the whole process, then maybe I'd believe that. But until then, I think there are more likely explanations. See, Ethan has stated publicly that his many lawsuits against smaller creators have damaged his reputation.
I don't want to be the fucking litigious asshole that's suing everybody. Like, I know what people think of me. I know what people say about me. I'm not a moron. I know like the consequences of doing all these lawsuits and stuff.
The biggest backlash so far came very recently when he was criticized by a prominent YouTuber, Charlie of the channel Penguin Zero. He criticized Ethan's lawsuits, and these videos got millions of views.
Ethan, of all people, should be very
I still haven't seen these Charlie videos. Is it worth watching? I guess I don't give a fuck.
familiar with how defamatory lawsuits can be exploited by those with a lot of money. He was the guy that always fought on the right side of these kind of battles. And now in this case, I really think he's lost his way in that regard.
Ethan also just lost a lawsuit against the streamer Denims. He sued her for copyright infringement, and the ruling on this one was just brutal. The judge ruled against Ethan while citing his own previous case of defending against a frivolous copyright lawsuit. It wasn't until both of these events
He wanted an apology from Taylor Lorenz, or else he was going to sue Sean. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's like, maybe I should sue more non-female people.
that Ethan began offering to drop his defamation lawsuits in exchange for an apology, of course.
If Ian would issue a genuine apology, I'd probably think about dropping the lawsuit. And honestly, the same is true of Noah Sampson. If he just issued like a heartfelt apology, I'd probably consider dropping it.
And there's another part to this that I think is worth discussing, which is how Ethan's reputation has also taken hits due to his support for Israel. According to him, this perception has ruined some of his personal and professional relationships.
From a professional perspective, our entire lives are ruined.
Fucking horrible jacket that he's wearing, by the way. Like, ugh, that material just triggers something within me. It reminds me of like sleeping in like a moldy comforter at my grandma's house. Just looks bad. Also, why are the sleeves like dipped in dark ink? It looks like you just reached into the toilet to grab your AirPod that you dropped into it.
Collaborations, partners, business partners, employees, creators, friends.
If you look at the trends and views and subscribers, there's been a demonstrable drop since October of 2023. Former fans of H3 are leaving and have spoken about the sort of rampant Zionism in that community.
It's actually anti-Semitism for Noah to point out that Ethan Klein has lost subscribers.
Apparently, even just wearing their merch now has an explicit association with the state of Israel. At one point, Ethan may have thought that suing me for criticizing his statements about Israel could change this public perception.
I'd love to see you reason out in a court document about how I and Mudahar support genocide. I really look forward to that.
But somewhere along the line, he must have realized that this strategy wouldn't work. When he got the chance to prove me wrong in front of a judge, just like he wanted, he folded. He backed out at the last minute. So here we are. So anyways, super glad this is all over, ready to get back to making regular videos. I'll update everyone with a post as soon as I can about the GoFundMe situation once that's cleared up. I appreciate everyone who has supported me throughout this whole ordeal, including those who have contributed to the fundraiser and the many creators who were kind enough to join in on the fundraiser stream. That was super cool. And once again, huge shout out to my lawyer, Deborah Drews, and her firm, Drews Legal. She genuinely saved the day. If you have any legal troubles in the vein of...
Bro, supporting YouTubers as lawyers is like the new way to get a lot of publicity for your law firm. Shout out to Deborah for working on a massive discount. Yeah, and that's amazing. A used tampon. Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Dude, their clothing sucks. It really does suck. Like they're trying. He sacrificed himself for Mitch. He's a hero. Man. Poor Lindsey Graham. Who gives a fuck? Oh, Ro Khanna detained in... I'm assuming it's the West Bank, right? So Ro Khanna's detained in the West Bank. He was detained by settlers, and then the IDF showed up. Israeli settlers brandishing American-made M4s detained me and other Americans on my trip to Palestine. When the IDF arrived, they sided with the settlers and continued our detention. They made a huge mistake. Dude, it's so fucking crazy how bad Palestine is. And you hear from Zionists saying, well, You wouldn't visit Palestine because it's dangerous, and you go to Palestine, and the only danger are the Israelis. They fucking kill you, they bomb you, they beat you up, they detain you, they like burn down the areas you're living in. Representative Rokana visiting a Palestinian school destroyed by Israeli settlers in the West Bank village of Kirbet Zenuta. All these young Kleins destroying children's schools. The Israeli settlers had guns. I mean, they could have killed him easily. They could have easily killed him. And one of the first things Trump did is rescind an executive order that Biden did, saying that West Bank settlers are terrorists, and he got rid of that. That's one of the first executive orders Trump did on the first day of office, saying like removing sanctions from West Bank settlers. Like basically legalizing the West Bank settlers to essentially do whatever they want in the West Bank. On Wednesday afternoon, Mr. Khanna was visiting the ruins of Kirbet Zenuta, a tiny Palestinian Bedouin village in the southern West Bank that was abandoned after escalating attacks from settlers. Suddenly, a car of men holding guns pulled up and blocked the narrow road out of the village. The men began taunting the congressman and his team, swearing at them in Hebrew and Arabic and kicking the tires of their minibus. A jeep with more men arrived. When two cars from the Israeli military pulled up, Mr. Khanna assumed soldiers were there to help him pass. Instead, the soldiers smoked cigarettes, chatted with the men, and after the settlers left, moved a car to block the road. I mean, dude, how fucking naive are you? Like, the IDF supports these settlers. That's a big reason why October 7th happened, because Netanyahu had pushed IDF members into the West Bank to help with the colonization. Also, the fact because Netanyahu was looking for October 7th to happen by funding Hamas and underfunding the security on the West Bank and ignoring Egyptian military intelligence that said there was going to be an incursion into Israel on October 7th, like, is as close to an inside job as you can get. I felt powerless in that situation. Yeah, bro, have your own fucking security with guns. As I have a lot of privilege in life. He was eventually allowed to continue his journey after calls to the U.S. Embassy and Israeli police. Imagine how people feel every day, Palestinians under the occupation, if they could make an American congressperson feel powerless for 90 minutes. It was the most frightening part of a 3-day trip. In a statement on Saturday, a spokesperson for the Israeli military said that it had received a report of Israeli civilians unlawfully blocking the vehicles of foreign nationals. Troops were dispatched and reopened the road. Like, arrest the people then? They did a kidnapping? Arrest them? The military disputed that its soldiers had participated in blocking the exit and said the identity of the armed civilian was being reviewed. The one armed civilian. Mr. Khanna said what he observed in the West Bank would inform his politics and perhaps his run for president. If he mounted a campaign, Palestinian rights would be a key focus. I mean, obviously, he's laying the groundwork for this. He knows it's a very popular issue. He seems to have a very poor understanding of it. If he didn't think that the IDF would not side with the settlers, like if he was surprised that the IDF was siding with the terrorist settlers, he still seems to be extremely naive. Mr. Khanna was being blocked by settlers in the West Bank. Rahm Emanuel, another potential presidential candidate, was speaking at Tel Aviv University, where he delivered his own critique of Israel and a 23-state solution for Israel. A 23-state solution. And all the Arab nations. He'd been invited to give a speech at the university and also met with leaders in the country. Netanyahu didn't really fund Hamas. It was a plan to plant seeds of doubt inside the Strip in hopes of having the people of Gaza turn on Hamas. What are you talking about? They definitely funded Hamas. Who are the 2028 candidates now that Platner has finally fallen? I mean, I don't know. AOC is definitely going to be a candidate. Rokana seems to be. Gavin Newsom. Josh Shapiro seems like he's beefing up for a run. He's a U.S. politician. Yeah, exactly. Did any video come out about this? Kana, Palestine. Like, he goes to Palestine. Did he cut any media about his trip in Palestine? Are there any videos?
Access. And like I said, here's put up the American flag as a protection. As a sign of protection, maybe. I'm American citizen. I become American citizen. American citizen.
I've been to Israel before. We've met with Israeli officials. We've gone to Ramallah, met with the President Abbas. But I've never really gotten to meet Palestinians and seen the occupation from the eyes of Palestinians. And it was important to me to have an uncurated, extensive look at the human toll of occupation.
Where is that settlers? It's
Kiev.
That Muslim coming from the How are you doing? Okay, تعال يا
Well, I'm certainly probably the first American politician who's been detained by the IDF and Israeli settlers. I mean, we were at a village that Israeli settlers had destroyed. They had destroyed the school. They had destroyed that village, and we were just looking at it. And these hoodlums come in with machine guns, an M4, an American-made machine gun, and they detain us. They block off the road. And then they call the IDF, and the IDF is on their side, not on the side of the Americans.
He's so surprised about that.
And what people in America are asking is, are you so bought and sold by the establishment and political donors that you cannot see human injustice? So if you're unwilling to speak up for Palestinian human rights, if you're unwilling to speak up against the genocide in Gaza, the apartheid in the West Bank, then you are morally compromised. And we cannot trust you to fight.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Rokan is not wrong there. I mean, I've said it for years now at this point. My red line is anti-Israel, like anti-Zionist, and anti-capitalist. Those are my two like basics that I need a Democratic presidential candidate to have in order to get my support.
For Medicare for all, or to fight for workers over the billionaires, or to fight for justice and human rights in the United States. Being in the West Bank and in Israel is the first time that I have really been acutely aware of being brown. I feel like people have seen me first as brown, second as an American congressman, and third as an American citizen.
Damn, that's crazy. Oh, but Israel is one of the most liberal democracies in the Middle East. If you have a society built off of racism, it doesn't matter how liberal you are, you're still racist. Also, Israel's extremely homophobic too.
I saw the arrogance in the eyes of those settlers, 21 and 22-year-olds with guns, laughing that they had detained us. The arrogance of those young IDF soldiers that my tax dollars are funding, having no respect for the fact that they were detaining Americans, no respect that there was an American congressperson in that bus, and laughing when our translator told them that there are Americans there and the American embassy is concerned. It is the arrogance of power.
The
arrogance. Of a power that has had no accountability, total impunity, and has created a toxic culture of oppression. I'm strongly considering it, and I'm more resolved to consider it after this trip. We need a new moral direction in our party, a new moral vision that respects the dignity and human rights of people around the world.
Man. Lord. Ugh, jeez. Okay. Oh, it's a good card. Oh, fuck. All right, guys. Oh. No, we need accountability. All right, I'm going to game a little bit on here, and then I'm going to go to bed. So feel free to fuck off if you want. What am I getting? Production. Then I go card draw route. Get some free stuff. Need more stars. I have no card draw. I could really use some. Otherwise I do black hole and I deal a lot more damage. Production's so good though. Alright, upgrade 2 random skills. That's not very good upgrades, but it's fine. Gonna rest here. Like to smith. Can smith on the next one. Receive the spoils map. Lose 8 HP. And we'll get the spoils map. Set us up for the next phase. Smith. Black hole would be good. Terraforming. See, gaining vigor with Stardust. That's good. Deal 7. We'll do Stardust. We'll upgrade that. And then we'll take on Verdonis. Alright, let's think. So this gains stars. 17. I already have 8. I can just basically do this. Full blocked. Okay, so now I can do black hole, deal damage. Guiding star. Block this, deal a damage. 12 right now, so I can play a defend in full block, or I can get rid of a debris, and my deck's getting pretty shitty right now. Whatever, we'll just get rid of a defend and full block it. Super chill Saturday. Yeah, I made some tea, that was relaxing. Okay, what am I doing here? Am I productioning? Gonna go like this. I think I am going to throw my potion on here. Damage. Damage. Gain vigor for next turn. Ooh, took 11. Now we can Stardust. So I can Venerate, Patter, and then this is 15 damage. So easily dead. Gain 1 strength. All enemies lose 1 strength. Alright, let's take it. Deal 5 damage. Forge 5. Forge is an additional 5 for every other time you've hit an enemy. I mean, that's pretty good. Oh. Big resonance gaining strength. Shoot. 15 damage. If I don't do anything, I guess I'll gather light and then just go like this. So now my black hole's going to be good here. So I can go like that. Deal damage to you. Kill. Deal damage to this guy. Take 5, unfortunately. Draw 3 and venerate. Stardust should kill him. I'll take the Know Thy Place. We really need a good card draw, though. Alright. I'm going to upgrade this guy. And we're going to see if we can survive. Might not be the case. Know Thy Place. Gather Light. Collision Course. Strike. Bend. Oh, Strength Potion. Gambler's Brew. That's pretty good. Oh, it's 10 damage. I'll take the Strength Potion here. Attack. Defend this for the most part. The witch is dead. Alright. I need to do a big Stardust. 25 damage? Jesus Christ. I guess giving him weak would be nice. So venerate, give weak. I do kind of want to Stardust. That's 20 damage though. Otherwise I draw more cards. Go like this. Defend. Urgence. Oh, this is rough. If I survive this, I'll be surprised. Yeah, I feel like I should have played Guiding Star instead of the other ones. Alright, I'm literally doing nothing this turn, so I think I'm going to use this Gambler's Brew. Dump the entire hand. Go like this. Oh, fuck. This did not work out. I have nothing. That was a horrible turn. Oh, I'm going to lose. This is Slay the Spire 2. You have to build a deck, and my deck is not doing well right now. I want to Resonance if I can. You have to build a deck to fight these guys, but not doing the best at the moment. I feel like I've dealt no damage. What the hell? Oh my god, 27? Oh, I'm just dead. Ah, fuck. Oh, I thought that deck had some potential, but I'm gonna have to do that again later. I'm racing my friend. I'm on level 6. I'm on level 6 for this character, and I've beaten level 10 on all of the other characters. So, trying to level this guy up. All right, I gotta start one more. See if I get a good start. Whenever you rest at a rest site. Ooh, booming conch. All right, great starting relic. Let's go here. See if we get a good card, and then I can call it. Horrible starting hand, though. Taking 2 damage off the bat. Okay, so I can give him weak. And then defend the 4 damage that he's going to deal. 19 damage I need to deal. Oh, he's dead here. All right, we took 2 from that combat. Gain 7 block, add 1 random colorless card. Or black hole. I'll take the black hole. Deals 3 damage to all enemies whenever you gain or spend. The first time you play this card, each combat gain a mana or heal 9 HP, upgrade a card. Upgrading a card's pretty good. Let's do upgrade the Venerate. You can do a star build. Here. And kill. Kill. Black hole. Man. Not great. Like that. Take 4. Kill that guy, and I only need to hit this one for 2 strikes. Boom. Boom. All right. Am I going to get another good card? Stardust. All right. I feel like I'm off to. That's. I know. I'm trying to get Anthony to play this game with me. So you guys gotta be on my side for that. Another Stardust card draw, maybe? I have Venerate. I have Stardust. Gain 1 strength. Gain 1 dex. Pretty good. 15 days. Let's get the gain 1 strength, gain 1 dex. All right, I'll try to fight. Oh fuck, another guy here. This. Damn, that was a good amount of damage. 15 damage off the bat. And kill. Yeah, gaining the strength with. All right, I'll get a glow. Gaining the strength with Stardust is really nice. All right, I feel like I should be able to do this. Boom. This makes you miss Yu-Gi-Oh! 1, 2, 3. All right, the moment of truth. Oof, pretty bad start here. Gain a mana, draw a card. Let's draw 2 cards. All right, great. We drew the weakness card. That's what I wanted. I don't think I can kill him. That's dealing 10 damage. Then it would be 9 plus another 5 would be 15. That's probably like 16 or 17. So that'd be like 35 plus 10 would be like 45. So yeah, we're gonna have to block here. 50% of 23 is like 11 or 12. So it'd be 11 or 12 damage. So I can just go like this and deal damage like that. And 7. So every time you attack this guy, your attacks deal 10% more damage. Or every time you play a card against him. So 7, 14, 21, plus another 12. 33? Maybe I can do it. Eight plus 16. 24. I'm gonna be like 2 damage short. Yeah, I'm 1 damage short. All right, fine. That was a rough battle. Deal 3 damage for each card you created this combat. Prophesize. Let's take card draw. All right. I keep pushing it. I'm gonna go one more. You can't increase your HP. You can rest. When you go to these campfires, you can rest to recover some of your HP, but it gives you a percentage of your HP, of your max HP. And so you can't really, there are no cards that really increase your HP too much in the actual battle. Here. Guess I just prophesize. Should have prophesized first. Black hole. Right. Take 7. Kill this guy. Oh, I'm taking way too much damage. All right, well, at least I can kill him. Kill this guy next turn, hopefully. There we go. All right, well, anyway, I'm gonna end it there. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good rest of your night. I gotta go to bed, and I'll talk to you all in a bit. See ya. Go to Do Not Worry Podcast and harass Anthony. Tell him to get this game. All right, peace out. I'm out of here.